Well, that's what best of threes do. They give you a little bit of room to play around and to see whether you have what it takes. Let's start to bring in our incredible commentary duo. It's none other than Dev, and Pengu. Wow, I nearly went the whole pre-show without stumbling there, boys. But Pengu, I want to ask you, mate, how does it feel to be physically in Australia but spiritually in the land of Dane?
Feels pretty good, I suppose.
He's got the Aussie mode. Have a look at him.
Yeah,
he's got the bot house today.
So we had to take rehearsal. Rob comes into my beard back then, so I shaved it all off.
I was so disappointed. That beard looked unbelievable. Now you kind of look like a middle-aged school teacher in Australia. You know what I mean?
Giving Ted Lasso, actually.
Oh, it is giving Ted Lasso. And the look as well. Yeah, you are going into Ted Lasso. And you know what? We're going into the game. Gents, enjoy.
Thank you very much, Rob. Yeah, so excited to be here in the studio with you, Nick. And as the guys over on the couch have done almost exclusively OCE, I think it's only our second day of working on OCE, and it's into stage finals. And guess what? OCE has been shaken up so much. Of course, Enterprise did phenomenally well at the Salt Lake City Major. Now this region has 2 spots to EWC, whereas Asia and APAC North just get the 1. That opens the gates for a challenger to approach. Enterprise seemed to be a given, but the group stage doesn't necessarily suggest that. They lost to both Chiefs and Shy Academy. Chiefs ended up in 1st seed, Rival in 4th, but as Guz said already, Pengu, Rival actually got the better of Chiefs in kickoff. So I feel like now that we're into BO3s, anything's possible.
Oh, it very much is the case. It's been super exciting to watch, and not just for OCE, but like Asia, APAC North, and OCE. All the 3 sub-regions of APL have been super competitive here in Stage 1. And, you know, if you build all your sub-regions stronger and stronger and stronger, you actually also get better practice. And that's an important thing to note here, because when you're in OCE, you don't just scrim Australian teams, you also scrim teams that are over in Asia, teams that are from Japan.
Yeah.
You naturally deal with the high ping and scrim across the borders. So I think this has a very good potential to make the entirety of APL a lot stronger in Stage 1 and Stage 2.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we had a bit of a chance to chat with Magnet, who's been coaching Enterprise. His interview was really interesting because he kind of threw us a curveball and said the other direction. I think, of course, he has very high standards based on his history with the old Fnatic boys, but he has very high standards for Enterprise. And he says, look, we're obviously the best team, not just in OCE, but in APAC as a whole. And, you know, we threw other names at him like, oh, what about D+? What about Furex? What about CG? He's like, oh, you know, they're okay. We're better than them. And I feel like OCE, from our perspective, has leveled up. But as you say, the same case for Asia, the same case for APAC North. What's more, we're now down to stage finals only having 4 teams, whereas last year's playoffs had 6. And that really makes it a lot more competitive. We've got this double elim format, 2 strikes, and you're out. And of course, this is our upper bracket semi-final, our first chance for Chiefs and Rival to show us what they've got.
Rival starting off with a very nice target ban here on towards the Chishanga. It's just going to make the plans, the pushes a lot faster in pace. Yes, there can still be a Goyo or a Smoke, which is screened from relays, but 3 toxic babes, so you can toss on out throughout the entirety of it, versus the Chishanga that can just continuously stop you for a few seconds here and a few seconds there. It's going to be a great help there to the first couple of stages to the round. Also, speaking of relays, actually roaming downstairs way far away from the bomb site. Looking for a freebie maybe, doing some prep work, thinking, okay guys, we've seen them have a solo entry downstairs and they don't drone this double door ever. If they do it again, I can get a freebie. Not to be.
Of course, we've seen both of these teams play Lair in the group stage. Chiefs beat Barbie Boys and Man LFO on this map, whereas Rival beat Arcade Esports. It was quite a dominant 7-2. And when these 2 teams did meet in the group stage, Chiefs beat Rival quite handily, 7-3. That was over on Cafe. And Chiefs, funnily enough, actually won every single entry fight for that entire 10-round game. 10 opening kills in a row. I wonder what's going to happen at the opening of this game.
Village is still downstairs, by the way, just hiding by that ranged double door. So if Jeff walks too far forward, he will become a freebie. And if they've not gotten that red ping mark onto relays from the drone phase, he can't even get tracked. But also, why would you track a Smoke, right? Smoke's going to be on the bomb site, surely.
Oh, freebie, surely.
Perhaps that's why he's going to make this play himself. He hears him.
Looks around the corner, but I think relays should indeed get the drop on him. Great call from Chiefs. Great foresight. to already be in that roaming position. But as you say now, Nick, now they're thinking, hang on, there's a smoke downstairs roaming. That means that with the Jenka ban, we have far less stopping us and slowing us down on the bomb side.
It's kind of now or never, but the Denari laser deployed with shield. The Racer gets a good kill here, but got shot down on the ACOG of Blitz. Actually, now the push has been halted once more.
Yeah, that's a shame that it's your Blitz that goes down. After the smoke was spotted offside, that was the chance for Rival to get active onto the bomb site. However, Wettables taking down Neptune. Now into the 3v3. Relays back into the bomb site, but his smoke misses.
Oh, it missed.
That's a critical mistake. And Chiefs will now have to spring into action to compensate. The plan is down and holding aggressive angles on the bomb site. Rival continue to lock it in. It's Chikena now in a 1v3 as he brings out the C75. The whole site is dirty. He doesn't know where they are. He's being followed by Proxy, and he will be shut down. Despite an opening kill from the Chiefs, it's Rival that kick off this game.
We've seen Jake the caster go into a 1v1. We've seen Chikena, the player, in a similar position. Just the movement, the aim, not fighting back and getting shut down in the very first round there.
I wonder if his keyboard's being messed with as well.
I'm sure there's an excuse in the chat. Honestly, I'm saying, yo, what happened to smoke, my guy? Relays, you missed the smoke canister. That's why we lost the round. Just blame someone else.
Of course, every round is won or lost by usually multiple factors, but yeah, you gotta wonder what the hell happened with that smoke, babe. It's all well and good that Relays can find an early pick off site, but that missed smoke allowed the plan to go down, and in the 3v3, there's just no way that Chiefs can retake that realistically.
Also a matter of having, you know, contingencies and backup plans. If you only have smoke as plan denial, and he's going to be roaming and making that play, I thought it was a great play. Just want to put that out there. You're probably not going to get Demos tracked as the smoke player because Demos is certainly going to be on the bomb side. So that makes sense to me. But then, if you really want to do the foresight of saying, okay, if Smoke's going to be doing the roaming play like a one-off strat, what can we do upstairs to stop a plant? I'm talking about having like a second, just a C4 that's in a very passive position that can guarantee toss it on out, or it's about having an echo that can stop the plant if they try and go for it. Because like we witnessed, they did go for a fast take, and yes, ACOG died on the blitz early, but the entirety of Rival pushed behind them. It was a full commitment knowing there was a small gap in the defense, and they just full send it. Great stuff to get the first round. Mind you, every single attack around here in Lair is massive in value because it can be quite tricky to get more than 2, maybe 3 attack rounds if you're a phenomenal attack.
Loading new magazines.
There's a lot of map to clear here for Rival, starting with this roam from Relays and that deployable shield. And a couple of reinforcements and a rotate hold immediately puts pressure on him, but he can always drop down that hatch. He decides not to overstay his welcome. I like that, the Denari lasers, but ACOG can just crouch immediately under them. Nice and easy. That was a very quick way of dealing with that setup from Chiefs.
It is. Great bit of value gained. And as I said, the attack can be quite tricky, but if you do the first step very effectively here, you can redo all the verticality, all the hard destruction, also have enough time to deal with Neptune here, playing on the blue stairs, filtration stairs. We've seen this kind of mini play happen a lot, both in EML and APL. You have a Yokai drone attached to the ceiling to stop the shield from pushing. You'll do a timer, 3, 2, 1, the echo will stun the shield, the smoke will pre-fire towards the head, and you instantly get the kill. So our ACOG, is he aware of this? Is his teammates aware of this? Because you can call the echo to call to make the Yokai drones not work, but they waited for a little bit too early perhaps, and now this strat has been exposed and possibly countered by the attack.
Very risky to try and shoot those ADSs. The flashbang is good on Neptune. He's forced back, takes the damage, and now he cannot cross that threshold lest he take damage from the fire of his exploded phone. I feel like Rival has made really good headway here.
Yeah, they have. Only a matter of time now. ACOG slowly inching forward in the smoke.
Oh, that's beautiful!
What? Where's the...
Come on, Neptune. Almost got him. The flash comes out again, and he bites off a little bit more than he can chew. He should have heard that the flash was recharging and run away, but no, instead the kill is confirmed. Great usage of the shield from ACOG and the support from Wettables with that DMR. But only 25 seconds. Rival will have to erupt quite quickly, and there's info on the bomb site here for the Chiefs. Keep in mind that there are still Yokai drones active here. One indeed. hidden on the bomb site. Jake can now count the seconds away. He hears ACOG forcing that plant down, disrupts it, however, immediately traded back. Player tries to take the vertical gunfight, but the defuse is going down. Time ticking down to a close, and the bomb is indeed locked down on the ground. It's now Jake and Lunchbox into the 2v2 with player on the floor. There is Vert up above, and Chef Jeff is watching from those angles. No more Yokais available. Chiefs now have to spring into action with player back on his feet. They look to retake on the top floor. One player, it seems, will stay down below, while Jakena, no more Yokais, will get active upstairs. We need one player from Chiefs on the defuse, and two players cantering up above. Chief finds one. Chef trades it back. Player
Time.
will stick the defuse. Chef cannot disrupt it, and player clutches up for Chiefs.
Beautiful timing. It's such a troublesome position to be in, right? It's a post plant, but you got 3 defenders. You have man advantage. How can you leverage that to the best of your
Isaac, can you hear me?
position? Well, you don't send 2 people on the same flank.
someone on
You
audio.
flank one person up the
Anyone on
filtration
audio can
stairs,
hear.
one person flanking up and from lobby,
Moi?
and you
That would be
2v1 the player above. It's beautifully done. It's well held on their spots, and it's just a matter of how good communication skills they have there between each other. The Chiefs, they steal it back, but I have to say a rival are fully challenging them, getting quick roam clear, getting the vert, getting into a plant spot, denying the Yokai drones, dealing with the smokes, and even covering all the crosses. So if I'm Chiefs, I'm saying, whew, thank God, boys. But we're being tested. We gotta do 110% in every single one of these rounds.
Hi, Laura. Can I get a little bit less side?
Changing mags.
One more round, Nick, before we get
Flash round.
the extra operator bans coming on through. And this is really where teams have to decide, do they either commit and try and use every single operator that they've got in their pool, including things like the Mirror and the Clash, or do they hold back and say, okay, let's stave it for one more round, and then in future, if it's not revealed and therefore not banned, we can play it later. But it looks like they're not really holding back on any way in terms of the Chiefs. We've got the Clash, the Mirror, the Azami, all these power operators. I wonder what Rival plan to do in this round, because they're just playing the Blitz again.
Yeah. I'm quite curious as well. It's very often that we see players get kind of trapped into going for the good old solid smoke, going for a rush plant, and then we see defenders play stuff like your solids or your warden or your C4s, and the plant and the entire round also be decided just off like the plant rush attempt. The Ken on the Clash is kind of the spanner in the works. He can lock down the top floor hallways, any of the backstab potential, and what that gives the rest of his teammates is safety to just peek down the verticality, safety for Neptune and Solis to just comfortably be on the gadget the entirety of the round. And mind you, you can track the Blitz with Solis' gadget. Even when Blitz is just walking around with the shield in his hands, you can check where the diffuser is going, where the drones are, and kind of call where the attack is gonna try to aim. So far, ACOG doing a great job at getting a bit of map control, but he cannot challenge Jakena on the Clash. You will always lose that as a shield operator on attack.
He's tempted to try and go deep, though. It's getting very
Could
close
this
to
be a
that
side
bomb site.
rush?
Yeah, indeed, it could be.
Get a bit of intel. Jakena's actually dropped downstairs and just play the side itself. I don't think all the walls have been opened up by Rival just yet. Prox took a lot of damage earlier with the Thermite, not want to risk anything. The grenade, the first grenade clears the Clash shield. That changes everything.
Yeah, huge kill, however. Doesn't matter if he doesn't have his shield, he still has that SMG. Jakena finds the Razor. Oh, hello and goodbye. There's a Blitz going deep. It's traded on back, but I would say that Rival, in a way, have come out worse, especially now as Neptune has found a second kill through the vertical game. Chiefs on the bomb side. Rival yet to clear it out. Big kill, though, from Wettables. Him and Chef now to pick up the pieces. The two players of Chiefs still upstairs. There is nowhere safe on the bomb site for Wettables to plant, even if he is able to recollect that diffuser.
You just play the vert here if you're Chiefs, right? Use the Solis gadget and just play passively. Have one guy peek the vertical angles, relays plays downstairs in security. The plant should never go down here.
Electrosensor active.
So the plant does start to go down. The angle should be able to be found by Neptune. The flashbang almost gets him. Somehow he still finds the angle. Now Chef 1v3, and the vert is too good from the Chiefs. 3 rounds deep. and they start to recompose, these attacks are looking pretty deadly.
Very curious here what you go for operator ban-wise. Like, do you ban the Clash and just kind of run whatever? Do you ban the Echo and bring out the Monty? And likewise, from Chiefs on defense, what do you think has been a big problem for you when it comes to the enemy's attacks? The Blitz has not been super influential, but was played very commonly. It will actually be a Blitz ban, and it will be a response there as well on the Clash. The reason why I thought the Clash was such a great call is that you just saw how much damage you can do just from being in the server. While Jakina did, lose the shield to a grenade and did die and get treated by the Blitz shortly after, that is a best case scenario. If that Clash is just walking around with the shield in hands, you'll never be able to clear it. Gotta stop bringing those niche operators like your Capital, your Nomad, a bit of verticality maybe, and Lair is just a very kind of narrow map. There's some hallways, not a ton of freedom to take the fights. It makes the operator so much more challenging to deal with. But because they opted for the Tashanga and Clash ban, it's a bit of a niche ban. Now you leave open the Bandit, which player will bring out in this round. You can now trick the exterior walls, and that too can single-handedly win you the round, unless rival have a counter. Stuff like, playing downstairs, going on the vert, bringing out, a Thatcher just trying to EMP and double breach the walls, something like that.
Yeah. I wonder at what point do Rival consider delving deep into the Monty handbook? The two main shields aside from that Monty have been banned away, the more aggressive shields. Perhaps in a future round. For now, they've locked in their ops. 5 rifles ready to go. Is Chef on for a bit of a lurk here? The ground floor, I believe. Self-droning, it seems. Perhaps some Deimos vertical action. The main operator that, if I'm Deimos, I want to be targeting in this round, from the Chiefs side, it's that Azami. If he ends up playing at that desk position inside a mask at the late parts of the round, we see Neptune. He did it in the previous time defending this very same bomb site. He lashed out, got there early. I think for Rival, they can look at the last time they won this bomb site and they say, well, look, if that Plantanal had been just a little bit better, we probably wouldn't have won that round. I think Chiefs are saying, look, if Relays doesn't miss his smoke, we probably win that round.
Ooh. Small things. Neptune falls on back, taking a little bit of damage. Thing about this bomb site in particular, playing top floor, is every single defender is so important. You're gonna have your key members, Player and Bandit, tricking the walls. Neptune's playing by the desk inside of the master office room. But if a person dies on the main staircase, that's a flank open. If no one's watching me see a window, that's a backstab potential. If no one's locking down the bathroom hallway, that's gonna be a gap.
Oh,
so every single team right now has to be doing a very specific job. The tricking is good. EMP comes out, but there's no double heartbeat. So it's one wall EMP, one wall EMP. Both get Bandit tricked, and that can literally change everything in this round. There's no more hard destruction on the attack inside. There's 2 Selmas within the wrong side of the building because they're inside. So that external wall on the outside cannot get broken. There's no time right now for Red Bulls to go outside the building, go in the rappel, go down, breach it, and then join his team back on the front side. So this is going to be Rival going for plan B.
Yeah, ideally, Chef needed to be playing that vert game as player was going for the Bandit juggle. Then Chef might have actually found a free kill on the back of it. We just saw that he actually doesn't have a scan onto Bandit. So it's possible Rival didn't even know Bandit was being played this round. Now that they can't open the external breach, they can't easily open the internal breach into Mezzanine. However, they found a pick, and now, as you say, Plan B has flipped. Relays has been finished off by Chef on that vert down below with the Deimos, and perhaps there is a way that Rival can flip this attack. Neptune covers himself vertically with his keeper barrier, and Lunchbox lashes out. However, it doesn't matter. Chef still finds an angle from down below. Ray's attempts a plan for a brief moment, but his teammate has fallen. Now he has to go deep. Needs to find this kill onto Lunchbox. Doesn't realize he's thrown on the floor. A player jumped outside, and the Chiefs lash out. Round 4 in the books, and Chiefs are really finding their footing.
So well done again. It's a game of small adaptations. Pick up the Bandit, hiding it the entire drone phase and live round phase just to get the 2 Bandit tricks off. And it's about punish your opponent in the details. If you Deimos track from below, or even you just take the secondary Deimos pistol and just shoot the floor a little bit, you can give a warning, hey Bandit, we know that you're on the wall, we can stop you. You can try and limit those playable positions. The other issue is that Chef Jeff, who was downstairs as a Demos player, he's striking the Asami, their Neptune, very late in the round, and it's great because he gets the kill. But the issue is his teammates up above are not successful at getting inside the buildings. You see it right here, it becomes a 3 versus 2, but Chef Jeff is downstairs a whole floor, so he cannot help his teammate. Somehow Cheese had a disgusting crossfire jumping out the bathroom window, like you said.
I thought that was an attacker for a second until you called out. Like mid-fight, you were like, he's outside, and I was like, oh, I thought that was an attacker who was about to trade Lunchbox. Nah, you're right.
Oh, man.
Chiefs got really dirty end of that round. I think that in some ways they've been read. I think Relays, in his aggression last round, right, he was on the smoke. Why was he caught at the bottom of the main stairs in the late round by the Deimos? That seems very unusual. Your smoke is off site. Chiefs lost the previous defense, the very first round of this game, because their smoke, their plant denial, wasn't quite on fleek. So if I'm Chiefs, obviously they're doing well, 3 rounds in a row. There are still things just to be a little bit cautious of.
Also feels like Chiefs now, after witnessing the first 2 rounds and how close it was, they've just slightly shifted the tone, taking a little bit less risk, playing a bit more composed, a bit more close together as well for the trade game. Understand that rival can win the individual gunfights. Now, a question that I had earlier was, do you try and like ban the Echo and bring out the Monty, because Echo is one of the few counters that can kind of make you vulnerable? They didn't opt for it. So Echo is on the table here, and as is ACOT now, Monty with the Blitz being banned away. Neptune, like I said, is gonna fall back. It's not about challenging players early anymore. They've completely shifted the strat book. They do not want to lose a member early and trying to play down the timer. Because like, there's 2 minutes left. They have a Monty. They can kill Neptune on the staircase most likely with about, I don't know, 60, 70 seconds left in the round. And that's plenty of time with the Monty on the board to just walk forward and try and establish a plan. So now there's a second game plan. Now you have Yokai for plant denial, and for intel, of course. You're gonna have Neptune having 2 toxic babes in pocket for plant denial, and look at Lunchbox. 3 Charisma mines on Ella. Those can be positioned mid-round either for a backstab potential, saying, okay, we heard them breach this hatch, let's plop a Ella mine on it. Or, hey, we hear they're planting, you can throw it out, it's gonna activate, it's gonna stop the planter, just like an Echo drone. So Chiefs are having multiple ways of using their gadgetry.
In the late round, though, I think if Rival get a ping onto the Echo himself, then they'll be able to spam him with the Dockerby calls in the late round. In theory, that should be enough to get a plant down. Razor just needs to make sure that he has a scan onto the Echo, that he knows that there is an Echo in play. Now, the fact that Neptune fell back at the start of this round meant that he's going to be able to gas up the bomb sites. ACOT gets completely caught off guard. As he tries to march inside, he's caught up in that gas, chokes to death, and now Rival have to pick up the pieces. Thankfully for them, Chef Jeff has found a pick onto player. The round, once again, may well hinge on Jekena on that Yokai. He still has at least 1 active, and the Dockerby has fallen. Lash out there from Relays. He wins the unfavorable fight while he is traded by Proxy, 2v3. With no plant in sight for Rival, is not looking too hot. So Chef is going to have to go big. He starts proning into the bomb site. Defuse still not been picked up. Nice spot onto Neptune. 2v2. Maybe they can go deep for kills. But Lunchbox wins the critical kill. And Proxy's got no diffuser in sight. It's a 5th round in a row for the Chiefs. As Neptune gets a bit lippy in the old chat, calling Rival bots.
Very small issue there from ACOT, just tanking the gas as the Monty. Maybe they thought that Neptune still had 3 toxic babes in pocket, and they saw 41 seconds and said, you know what, there's not going to be enough time. We can't just wait for the gas to expire. We got to push in deep and try and just make it happen right now. But we're up against the Elemines, the Yokai stuns, and the toxic babe, which he did not fully move out of.
And he was stuck in his own
Neptune
smoke.
only had 2 toxic babes.
He couldn't see where the gas ended.
That's the issue. Bro couldn't see a damn thing. It was like, oh, if the Yoga can't see me, it can't stun me. He didn't think about, oh, but if I can't see the gas, I don't know what's safe either.
Yeah, he kept moving.
It's tough. And it's why calculating resources is so important. Like, let's say that you're in the server, right? There's a ton of things happening, so this is very tricky. You see a Mirror, a Bandit, a Smoke, and an Echo. And you're still like roam clearing, you're counting, you know, who's shot which default cam, have you broken the hatch, broken the floor, who's holding the flank cams, etc. If you count how many smokes you see and how many C4s have been either shot mid-air or been exploded by the defenders, you can start going, well, they only have 2 C4 operators. We've heard 2 C4, so that means they have 0. Oh, we heard Neptune use 1 smoke canister earlier before he fell back down the staircase. He only has 2 left. All of a sudden you go, we can just, with like 40, 50 seconds left, bait out the 2 smoke grenades, and then we have, what, 20 seconds plus to deal with the yokai drones?
Yeah.
That's playable. But if you lose track of how many smokes or echoes or C4s or whatever, you just might be baited into the wrong play because you think that they have none left, or you think they have everything left when they don't.
James on talk back. Do you hear me? All right. Hard throw or soft throw?
Little Ella shotgun, by the way. Here.
Roger.
Little spies from Jakenna. Playing some shields, playing some clash. Now getting a little bit spicy with it. He's always playing these corridors. This is why the shotgun is such a great weapon. This angle here, upside down rappel with a pistol, is not ideal. One bullet.
I feel like Rival really need this round. 5-1 down, especially because it's 5 in a row. It's not like, oh, Chiefs won 1 or 2.
And momentum.
Yeah, it's momentum. Even though the momentum does somewhat flip at the side swap, yeah, I really feel like they need to get back into it. And I respected the way that they came into this with a Tachanka ban, a Kaid ban. In theory, that's a team that knows the win conditions, that knows how to get things done. But as you said, the late round util calculation wasn't quite on. And what you were saying about that last round, you know, the yokai and the smoke being the 2 main time delay enemies for Rival, well, you can counter the smokes just by counting how many are left and realizing that you've got enough time to burn them. And the yokai, it just comes down to knowing that you have Dockerby and having the foresight to be like, okay, we need to drone the Echo on the bomb site. We need to either ping one of his cameras or like hard scan the operator himself so that we can spam him with that Dockerby.
No. It's all about being patient and not stressing it too much. Make sure that everybody's ready for that execute on the attacking side. If you're missing one small piece of the puzzle, it can turn the entire round in the wrong direction. And for now, Rival, they haven't got an opening pick. They haven't got a ton of map control. They haven't done all the hard breaching necessarily. So, well, there's a glass field. They get the pick and they start planting immediately.
Oh, and immediately contesting through the vert as well. Eraser finds another double kill. That's 3 for the round. Neptune and Player not able to deny that plan. Now they have to get active on for a retake. The Lion locks them in place. The Nomad will surely assist. Player finds 1 kill. He's going to need 3 more, and he is being watched. Low HP now. ACOG moving up the stairs. Oh, the contest, though, for Neptune. Somehow he wins the gunfight regardless. The injure onto ACOG. 2v2 on paper. This is so winnable for the Chiefs, but do they have the info to know where is safe and where is still dirty? They're pre-firing everything. Rival have to play this perfectly. Player to get on that defuse, and it trades. Player needs to stick it, but he has no time. And Proxy will find the final kill. Rival get a second round on the board to close the half.
Is that? How important is that, Jake? Because when you look at the grand scheme of that, that's now a 4-2 half. That looks like it's in the realm of possibility. 5-1, completely different conversation.
Yeah, I mean, Lair in this region, it's a 57% defensive win rate. They stormed out of the blocks to take top floor with the attacking side for Rival. That was the perfect start. You couldn't ask for any better. But then 4 straight to Chiefs, it felt like maybe they'd kind of got a bit of a stranglehold on the game. And needed Bunk's briefing. Tertiary site goes the way of the attack, 4-2. It's kind of where we would maybe expect a good normal game to be. But it definitely was needed for Rival to win that. Otherwise, 1-5, and they were staring down the barrel. So they desperately needed that. And kind of where a lot is going right for Rival is probably Chef Jet. And we spoke about this in the pre-show, didn't we? Where
I was shocked.
He comes to finals and he just turns into a beast. And they're also players not overperforming for Chiefs. Lunchbox has stepped up and Proxy's playing well. So really the only thing from the pre-show that we discussed is maybe players not playing to his usual self, but everything else is following the script. Yeah,
a 4-2 half. Are you happy with this for Chiefs? Have they set the mark? Have they set the pace?
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased for Chiefs, but I think from Rival, again, that last round for them was super critical, and the key piece of the puzzle for them was that glass. Eraser filled that role, and I was looking at his numbers up until the very end of that half. He was basically bottom performing for the team. So he steps up in a massive moment, covers plant. Yes, the post got a little bit dicey, but it's always a very difficult site to retake. So credit to Rival, they really lock in on that final round and make up for the previous attempt, where they fell very much short of the mark on that specific site. So great work there in the 6th. They're keeping it competitive. ultimately, this map isn't probably absolute must-win, but
Sure.
if they can, look competitive, that's going to be very compelling.
This map in particular has the most plants throughout this stage.
Okay.
3 in that first half. So I'm
Yep.
expecting that to be something that Chiefs will also look to once they go into the attack in the second half, will be to get plants down, find win cons through there.
Second half, where does this go?
Oh, I mean, it's tough to say. Rival have a very good defensive win rate on this map. It's a very limited sample, of course, but they've shown success on this side. I think they'll look fairly comfortable and well set after that last round where they were able to get a really big result. If this was a 5-1, I think they'd be pretty deflated.
Yeah, sure.
Mine's probably already starting to think about that second map, but now that they're very much in the mix, I'm expecting this to look close and competitive. And if Chiefs don't have that overperformance from the likes of Player, can we see them tap into a little bit more depth? Will that be enough on this attacking half?
Well, especially going into the rest of playoffs, it's going to be a very big one for Chiefs. Can they set the tone? Can they set the pace in their opening best of 3? We'll have to find out. Back to your professional commentary duo.
Thank you very much, Rob. Yeah.
Why?
Can they get it done in the second half? I don't know. I do wonder what your take is on this, Pengu, because right at the start of that little segment, Guz said, I'm not sure if this map is a must-win. I feel like it kind of is. Like, this is Rival's pick, right? You can't just let this one slip through your fingers and then GG onto Bank, especially because in a way these maps are somewhat similar. We're probably going to see a lot of Tachanka and Smoke and Echo play on Bank just the same.
Pantanile. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I also think, I think if you want to get down to like the nitty gritty, winning here might not be like do or die, but making it competitive is do or die. If they just kind of fall over now and we get like a 7-2 or a 7-3, I think Bank is completely cooked here for Rival the second map. It's gonna be a quick 2 over G, so happy days. So not a matter of like you need to win layer, but you gotta get that close to the finish line at least. Also to give yourself some of that mentality of, guys, we can beat these guys.
Yeah.
Because like we said, there are 2 spots available for EWC here for O's. You don't need to beat Chiefs to qualify necessarily because you have lower bracket and you can avoid them, hopefully. But you do need to be good enough to take down the other top dog in Enterprise.
Yeah, for sure. But at the end of the day, 2 spots, you don't need to be the best. But technically, Chiefs are the top dog after the group stage. Both Chiefs and EP lost to Shy Academy, who didn't even qualify for the top floor. But Chiefs did beat Enterprise, so you never know. It's hard to... that's why we have these stage finals, right? Because we don't have all the answers out of the group stage. But it's going to be an ever-evolving situation, even as we get into EWC, whichever are the 2 teams from OCE. They're going to be judged not just on how they did locally, but how they actually perform at the event. If EP or Chiefs goes to EWC and bombs out, then no one really cares how well they did domestically.
Seeing player on Nook here in the very opening round, which is like, I think Lair might be one of the lowest pig rate maps of all time for this operator, because Nook doesn't get a lot of value, right? The staircases, his window jump-ins, his like narrow hallways, but there is a Valkyrie in play here from Rival, and almost no traps, only bring out the Thorn, so it could work out well for a backstep later on. Right now it's going to be Neptune downstairs with Bach doing the vertical destruction, with Lunchpop challenging horizontally, just trying to fight for that opening pick. They have decent amount of time to go so far, 1 minute and 14 seconds, but they gotta start getting that pick sooner or later, not get stuck in these hallways.
Oof. A lot of damage done. A stray bullet through the floor, and Chef is toast. Yeah, it's a big ups there. However, he's still alive. Credit to him.
That could be good. It gets duped actually by Wedables running forward, just getting out of dodge. It has a limited radius, of course. Flashbang going through, Lunchpop somebody gets the kill instead, so Jeff going down, and now it opens up the plan potential here. He's gonna sprint on in!
Is he surely just going to go deep for the plan? I'm not sure if this was spotted. Wedables doesn't seem to be fully aware of it.
C4,
goes deep, does get caught off by the edge, and out goes a Nitro Cell, but it does not land! Big ups to the Chiefs. 5v1, the defuse has been locked down, and now ACOG is in for a world of pain on for the flank, and he finds the first, wins that gunfight, about to be met by a Monty, with a player watching him from the bottom of the stairs. Neptune happy to clean it up, fine as ever, and Chiefs spring into action into that second half.
Beautiful use of the verticality. It's something that I love to see teams bring out. It's not going to be like Deimos or the Bach. The difference is, right, the Deimos is relying on getting a red ping on an operator, going for a track, and then only he can kind of chase the outline or the red icon of the op. With Bach, you can just break the floor apart, continuously hold an angle, and even if Bach were to die, someone could low-key replace you downstairs as the floor has already been broken. It's going to force a tactical timeout from Rival Esports. Tough spot to be in.
Time to put your thinking cap on, hey? Coaching staff frame comes in.
Yeah.
I love this. I feel like we're in a new generation of talent here in OCE. I'm a top 4 team, and you look at some of the names on this roster. I mean, Eraser, ACOG, Proxy, Frame. These aren't household names that have been at the top of Siege in OCE for years and years. Of course, Wedables, he's been around the block many, many times. I remember his debut, 2019, 2020, and of course going to Bliss many times internationally and all kinds of other activity. Chef Jeff, he's been in grand finals back in the Man LFO days. He's made a name for himself on various teams, but a lot of this Rival roster is young talent. We know they can compete with the top teams, but in BO3s, it might be a different beast.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
I love how animated Lunchbox is. He's always like, there's always something going on there. Like, that guy cannot sit still. Must bring some immaculate vibes in the server, I imagine. It's time to get listen-ins, by the way. Can we just talk about that for a second? It should be mandatory at this point that we get some team listen-ins. So in NAL, going I don't know, 2-3 years back into the past,
The LAN League.
we actually tried this system as casters, the LAN League, where we as casters could say, we want to listen to this team for, we could choose when. I could say, for example, hey production, I want to listen to Chiefs in the last 50 seconds of this round. Now, I had to kind of guess and predict when it would make sense a whole round in advance to make sure it all works on the back end. But sometimes we would guess correctly and hear the entire setup for the execute and then into the final execute. It was incredible to witness. And then teams go, well, you're leaking our strats. And I go, yeah, you're right. My bad. We are leaking your strats. But it was a great viewing experience for us, okay?
I don't care about the teams.
And it wasn't just the casters, yeah. I mean, if you're a fan of a team, right, you want to get into the story, you want to see what it's like to be a pro player, the communication, who's calling the shots, and maybe sometimes you hear some of the struggle that players go through. Hey, you messed up there. That wasn't good enough. Hey, make sure you verbalize this. You can't just be quiet on the server. We need to hear sometimes, I think, as fans of the game, the reality of being in competition. And not just thinking that, oh, everybody knows everything, because we don't know everything.
For sure. And the nitty-gritty of exactly how you set up for an execute or whatever it is, that is such an insight into how high level of Siege is. It's not just about having the best mechanics, knowing the best way to use your gadgets, about your coordination. This is a team game after all, a team sport, as we say, team esport.
Yeah.
Chiefs already looking pretty hot on this round though, Pengu. 5v4 after finding that pick onto Chef Jeff. And now behind Chikena on the Monty, they can start to poise right up against that bomb site on the basement. Rivals really feeling that pressure now.
Yeah, they do. And they have Chikena on the Monty. That is going to be the most instrumental operator. It gives you a bit of information on where the defenders are playing from. When the Toxic Babes stop being tossed on it from Weatherbush, you can just walk in the bomb site door. So right now, we're just waiting. We're happily waiting, saying, hey, we're going to move a little bit forward. You're going to burn a smoke. Then we keep moving even further forward. And eventually, you're going to run out of gas. And we're going to keep having that speed available to us. Matter of when. Player taking a bit of damage. Second Toxic Babe there from Weatherballs. Only one left in pocket now.
They talk about running out of gas. Wedables, those gadgets are
they're watching the flank.
A very, very precious commodity.
Oh.
A juncture like this for Rival. And you're right. Razor, keen to flank. Now with those kills, he is prompted to do so, but he is being watched by Lunchbox, and he will go down. One by one, they fall. Chiefs lap up every single kill. Massive set of dominoes falling, and now it's match point. 4 rounds in the lead for Chiefs.
I mean, they're letting them set up right. Chikena has been so good on the Monty that they can just simply call the shots, take their time, lock down the flanks. There's not enough chaos happening in the server, I think, right now, for Chiefs to be truly challenged. They could, of course, lose their individual gunfight. They could get, I don't know, C4 while they're trying to go for a plant or a push. Those small things can always occur. But in terms of, like, who's actually controlling the pace of the rounds here since Sideswap, it's only been Chiefs. Like, their flanks are always watched. They're always making progress in the front. They're getting all their hard and soft destruction. They're getting all the map control. They got the opening pick. Like, nothing's going in the way of Rival. I think right now, there's two ways to play the game if you're Rival Esports. Either you go really basic fundamentals, you know, plant denial, watch the hallways, watch the gaps, etc., which their operator lineup is kind of alluding to, that they want to play like a normal round of C, so to speak, like very fundamentally sound. The other one is that you play the game of disruption, and it's about getting an opening pick onto Chiefs, about taking down one of those pivotal operators like the Shield or like the Execute operator in like Capitower, Grim, and it's about you just not making it a 5v5. You want to make Chiefs feel like they can't get everything accomplished on their checklist. They can't watch the flank, hard breach, get the main push with the shield, and use the capital fire. You gotta say, you can get 3 of those 5 checkboxes. And we're gonna choose which ones it is because we're gonna go for the kills. So I wanna see here if Rival can try and do that disruptive work early. Maybe have a player like ACOG who's playing the Asami, a bit more of a free spirit operator, or Chef Jeff who's playing Goyo, to try and lash out before Chiefs get too close to the bomb site.
Patience may well be the name of the game. Rival on defense haven't brought any wall denial whatsoever to try and keep that wall locked up. Could have gone for the 2-row, they could have tried the impact trick, but no, they're just sitting back and waiting. Eraser's actually detected by the Bees. He's about to feel a bunch of pressure from both the windows and likely from the bottom of mezzanine, maybe from the top of mezzanine, as Jakenna's here. 1 Selma left for player. I think he's likely to try and breach that mezzanine wall into the bomb site, but they need to clear out Eraser's position first. And Lunchbox with 2 nades in pocket is the perfect operator to do so.
Just biding our time right now. Lunchbox waiting for that staircase push behind him, or in front of him rather. Then a crossfire looks to his left and to his right, so you cannot push this hallway to bait.
Oh, it is a bit of aggression from Proxy is what it is. He takes the 1v1 onto Lunchbox. However, the Blackbeard did his damage and dealt with the Warden's key aggressive position. It looks like Chiefs have some ground, but at the cost of their Blackbeard. It might still be worth it.
So they lost one of those checkboxes, right? They lost the main shield player, the intel, the push, the way to maybe deal with ACOG in this particular location, playing inside of the master desk. There's 1 counter fire in pocket still from Jakenna, and if that can clear ACOG's location, that can win you the round. They got plenty of time to work with, but look at ACOG, he's scoring for those white swings. Here comes the fire. Fire kind of missed.
It did, but it doesn't matter because the plant's not going down yet, and ACOG is locking down the fort on this desk, protected by the Keeper barrier until he swings out a little bit too wide. And Jakenna will take him down. With Neptune finding that kill critically, Wedables gets aggressive. Otherwise, Chiefs might have had a way back into it. Now it's Neptune, 1v2. Bit of damage onto him from Wedables. Rival just need to be patient. Don't give him the chance. Go deep,
Beautiful.
Wet. And Neptune goes down. Rivals stay alive.
Great bit of push there, just taking the fights to the attackers, and like I said, make them work for it. Don't have them, you know, get the perfect setup with all the operators. So taking down the Blackbeard early, go for 1-for-1 trade, that's great. ACOG stuck his ground on the desk and realized, hey, the Captain Fire arrow didn't cover the full area. I can just kind of boost on the desk, use the key back, get a kill or 2, and just get my team into a strong position. And they had the backup if all things were to go wrong. They had the Shanka deep in the other bomb site, able to do it for a plant denial. So Rival, they're getting things going. They ban the Munty, which is excellent. This could just change the win conditions around here.
Oh, yeah.
Rival could very easily maybe get to a 4th or a 5th round victory. Chiefs gotta lock this one out now.
This was such a big moment, though. The fact that Lunchbox got bested there on that aggression from Proxy. A lot of confidence to try and take that close-up 1v1 with the Blackbeard, knowing that if you mess it up and the Blackbeard dashes you down at that wrong moment, uses his gadget, you are cooked. Another critical moment was Wedables peeking right as the Capitao of Jakenna tried to smoke up his position. That was the moment where it looked like Chiefs had a way back into it. Rival shut it down. Rival going to have to keep on switching up these bomb sites, though. There's a lot to go through. A lot of consecutive wins required on this defensive side. But like you said, that Monty being stripped away, I feel like the best teams in the world, not just in this league. I mean, you see it in APL plenty with Weibo and EP. The best teams can just bring Monty and just do Monty rounds. And what I mean by that is, like, they don't necessarily have to have a really complicated strat. The strat can just be Monty walks up, susses the vibe, and then we play off of it. And the best teams in the league tend to be able to just do that. And that goes for pretty much every league in the world. But as soon as the Monty gets banned or that stops working, then a team properly gets tested. And I think that's what's happening now with the Chiefs. You can't just have a Monty round. You got to actually make this work. And with the Blitz, no less, things can go wrong. When it's not a Monty, any shield that's much more vulnerable, like we saw last round with the Blackbeard, not as much of a fail-safe. You got to be much more adaptable.
That's why it's kind of risky now for Chiefs. So they really gotta make sure they lock it in and don't let these rounds slip away. Because it will, as you said, be a matter of like 1 C4, 1 good impact grenade, and the Blitz will die. Chikena still playing a very important role, of course, being the main entry as the shield operator.
This is good. I like this.
Here we see his opposition, right? ACOG
double nade.
for his teammate up above as well. Double nade, window repel as well. He stays alive. 1 HP.
Wow, the keeper barrier helps him, protects him for a little moment. This nade will surely finish him off.
Right?
Somehow he survives the nades, but Chikena goes for the ADS and takes ACOG down. Big kill, critical one for the Chiefs. If ACOG had been allowed to stay alive any longer, that would have been such a thorn in Chiefs' side. Wedables, unfortunately for Rival, was not able to delay much more time and keep his teammate alive. He's burnt now 2 of his gas, and Chiefs have been giving a lot of ground. Now they've also been given information deep onto that bomb site. Chikena, 1 smoke left in pocket, but the plan not likely to be possible. We have a Razor up above, still impact grenades as well in pocket to be utilized to deny this plan, to oppress this Blitz.
And the only way you plan right now is if you plan inside of a smoke grenade with the shield covering your back and blocking all the bullets from the Razor, because only he can find out exactly where the plant is happening. There is no Warden. You got operators like a Vigil, Melusi, and a ton of impact grenades, but that's not going to help you right here. Mind you, each of the small roly-polies from Sense will show an icon for the Solar Stu. It can be kind of tricky to track exactly where the plan is happening. Here's the smoke, Sense projector, and the plan attempt.
Oh man, he needs to
That shield's gonna block
overclock
the
this.
bullets.
He needs to overclock it. There's no way he gets the angle here.
The
Little bit
shield
of
blocking
damage
the
done,
bullets.
but the impact did not land perfectly. The plant goes down now. Chikena might even be able to get out alive. Rival have failed to deny that plant. They've also failed to find the opening kill. I think they've failed to dig deep enough here on Lair as well. Wedables punch down on the top floor, and Rival have pretty much no way back into it. Neptune locking it up from the stairs. Chiefs, they started this game dominantly. They look to end it with a flourish. It is a 7-3 on a flawless finish for the Chiefs. And our Kings of Group Stage continue their form onto the first map here at Stage Finals.
Beautiful as well. 15 kills to Neptune, by the way. Picking up all the kills there in the very final round. And the Monty ban, it was great, but Chikena played a perfect Blitz round. Opening pick, map control, and gets that bomb established, saying, hey, we know you only have a Solus. You literally cannot stop me from achieving this right now.
Yeah, that's a rough start for Rival. They picked Slayer, but they could not hang. Next up is Bank. Can Rival bring it back, or will Chiefs continue to dominate?
Hi, my name is Chris, also known as Player. I play for Chiefs in the APL. When I was a kid, I was really goofy and I would run around trying to make everyone laugh. You know, the normal gamer life. I would never do any homework, skip school as much as possible, and just goof around. I wouldn't say I was always a gamer as a kid, but I played a few games every now and then. The first game I would say I ever played was at my friend's house. We played Battlefront, the old Battlefront, and that's kind of, so I guess it started the FPS straight from there. Yeah, so I have a sister. I wouldn't say it's always been very competitive between us, but I feel like now it could be. And she's older than me, so she's definitely helped me across everything in terms of just growing as a person. Yeah, I think my competitive spirit definitely came from just me as a kid, trying new things for sure. And I think a lot of people have told me that when I put all my focus on something, and when I really do enjoy it, I get really good at it. And I think that really drives my competitive spirit in terms of like gaming, and just anything, sports as well. I started off playing like soccer, and I was very competitive in it. I played for a lot of academies as a kid, so I really enjoyed it, and definitely was like something that I tried to pursue. I definitely stopped because of gaming. I guess it kind of took over, and I drew all my focus from like just like sports and fitness just to gaming. Fitness is definitely something that I've drawn to because I kind of gaming took over, and now fitness is something that I look back on just for everyday life because that's something I kind of grew apart when I started gaming. My first game that I was obsessed about was TF2. I think just how fast paced it was and like how funny it can be, also the competitive factor of it as well. Obviously Siege came in, and I started playing when I was like 13, 14 on my PlayStation, and my obsession just started from console days. Yeah, I think I was really obsessed with TF2 at that time. It was just like a funny game, there was aim in it, and it was just like just beating everyone in the public lobbies was just really fun. But I would say when I was young, Siege definitely took over that obsession, committed into this game, playing it every day after school, and then I guess I eventually moved to PC. On console Siege, I didn't play that long. I think it was just about maybe like a year, and I was honestly like a complete noob. Like first controller game, I got good kind of fast, and then when I kind of like peaked on console, that's when I wanted to move to PC. I hit Diamond in Skull Rain, so it was like around 6k elo. I don't think I was good still, but I hit the rank. I think I wanted to move to PC because I watched a lot of like content creators at the time, like Serenity 17, Kickstar, and like the movement just seemed so like fun, and like obviously like the Pro League scene. I kind of wanted to move to PC as well as like other games as well. I think it was just like a lot more fast paced, mechanic based. It just looked a lot more fun. So that's why I kind of want to get PC.
Chiefs continue to impress us here in the OCE League as they start their playoffs campaign with a big win. A 7-2, 7-3, I can't even remember now. It
was too dominant.
It was. I looked back, like I literally went downstairs to go and talk to production. It was 6-2, and I'm like, cool, game's over, I guess. We're back from halftime break, and it's already over. Because I think for me, there's a tone that Chiefs needed to set coming into playoffs. they didn't really let Rivals get started in that match, and that was a critical part to kind of wash away any fears of playoffs.
Well, they almost let them start, right? I think at the halftime break, we were pumping up the tires of Rival, and I think justifiably so. They did a really phenomenal job in that 6th round on the Dorm's attack with the Glaz win con. They did a good job to give themselves a cushion. 4-2 scoreline is more than respectable when you're trailing heading into defense. Unfortunately for them, though, Chiefs have found that additional gear that we expected in best of threes, and Rival just didn't quite have it in them to follow stead on this particular map. That narrative may change heading over to Bank, the second in this series, but clearly on this map, Chiefs walk away with a very dominant result.
Yeah, I mean, they're the best team in the region when it comes to entry percentage, and it set them up in this match. 10 rounds played, 8-2 split. So that's very dominant. You're basically playing a 5v4 for the vast majority of the game, and they only lost a handful of those. Very plant-heavy match as expected, which I think... Look, I have my question marks, and I was debating this as well after the match had concluded regarding the actual selection of the map itself in terms of Lair. So if you go back to the veto process, and firstly, Lair itself is a very good map for Chiefs.
Sure.
So we end up in this situation where Rival picked the map, and you kind of walk away and think, well, they got to win their map pick, right? Well, Chiefs are undefeated on this map.
Yep.
So you kind of ask the question then, why are we going here in the first place? Rival have got a 1-0 record, and it was a win against Arcade, lowest team in the region. So it's not as if it's the kind of map that for Rival, like, oh, this is a statement powerhouse map for us, and we got it. So you think, well, what else could have they potentially gotten? I looked at Fortress. Now, they banned it away after the map selections, but Fortress is one of those middle ground maps for both teams. They both got a 1-0 record. Obviously, Fortress, the newest map in the pool. There's a little bit less known about it. Risky, don't get me wrong, but clearly after what we saw in Lair was not the right option.
No, and unfortunately for them, that, you know, a 7-3 loss kind of really does feel like your feet are in the mud a little bit. Like, we were gassing them up from the first half, saying, well, what can they really achieve? Unfortunately, second half did not show us enough, and now moving over to a map like Bank, I mean, you look at the players that are starting to fire up here, Neptune, Lunchbox. I mean, Neptune just seems to be such a sleeper player in the region where sometimes he's just not even needed. He just doesn't need to perform, and then other times...
player.
But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. A 5-5, and your team won 7-3. I mean, that goes to show us that we're starting to enter a new realm for this team where it isn't one-sided. It isn't heavy on one player.
Yeah, more often than not, we've seen the pattern over the last few months. If it's not player stepping up, it's typically Neptune, and if both of them are having an average day, Lunchbox typically makes up the load. And I mean, we've kind of seen that fully on display in this particular matchup, whereas Rival don't quite have that depth about them right now. That's going to be more so a stage 2 discussion.
Yep.
But I guess pulling it back into this particular best of 3, and if we want to direct the discussion over towards Bank, the second map, of course, I'm having a look at the record, and maybe I underestimated Chiefs actually in this particular veto, and maybe gave Rival a little bit too much of a chance. Again, there was that result 3 months ago. This Rival Esports, different look at the time, 7-1 over Chiefs. But you flip around and look at the record for Chiefs since. They have won Bank 5 times in a row, twice of which were against EP. So 7-5, 7-5, close results. But still, they have shown really good prowess on this particular map. And so from here, it's very tricky to envision Rival being able to replicate that same upset.
I want to bring up a statistics for Lunchbox.
Sure.
Now, when we think about the best players in a region, most of the time you're going to go to the fraggers. You're going to go to the guys that are dropping 20. Now, Lunchbox doesn't really play that way. He can every now and then. What makes him such a valuable player, though? So you think about plants. You think about usually hard support, someone who's going in. Their job is to plant. Jaketa does that for Chiefs. So the top players in the region, Sean, Sharky, and Jake Kenner for their respective teams are all on 8 plants. Obviously now Jake Kenner with that game is gone to the #1 spot. Then Prez, and then Cairo, and then Lunchbox. Now, he's got that ability to flex it and play that secondary plant option if required. That gives them operator flexibility as well for the roster. Not only that, but of all those kind of more supportive players, he's got the best cost percentage. So he is just the Swiss Army knife for Chiefs. Doesn't need to go drop 20, but can drop 10, can get the plants down, can get entries, can do it all.
It's kind of interesting now that we're talking about Box like that, because when we first met him, he was a gunner, and now he's starting to become diverse and, you know, a bit of a pocket rocket in that sense. But speaking of pocket rockets, how about we bring back in our casters? Boys, I mean, I know how intently... Pengu's not happy about that one. The delay, Pengu, might be the... It might be... Do you not know what a pocket rocket is?
It's like a little Jack Russell or a Chihuahua that's... Like, they're small, you fit it in your pocket, but you let him go,
Yeah,
It
it's
looks like Jake.
Penguin would fit in my pocket.
Well, hey, whoa. Why cop and slander?
Well, I mean, I was going to say it's kind of like
Watch
Jake,
it.
but also I kind of feel like Pengu, you might. Actually, you know what? Let's organise a boxing match between you two. We'll do that in the break. Anyway, gents, go and enjoy the matchup. We'll speak to you after.
Thank you very much. Look, the only boxing that we've seen today is the box himself. Lunchbox, 10-3, by the way. We talked about him aplenty. He's been looking fine on Chiefs. Now, we talked about Bank a little bit during that Lair game. Pengu, I am a little bit worried for Rival. Yes, we do have that kickoff result where back when they were called Team Anios, they did smash Chiefs on this map. But since then, as Guz said, Chiefs have been looking mighty fine on Bank. Most critically, beating EP twice, I think, is nothing to scoff at. This map is a home for Chiefs. They picked it in the BO3 today, and after doing away with Rival on their own map pretty handily, I think this is going to be a real solid lick for the boys in blue.
Yeah, also looking at how Lair played out about, the executes, the setup, and how Chiefs were faring. I just think, like, if 3 maps right now that would heavily favor them, it would be like, your Lair, your Clubhouse, your Bank, because you can do like a similar thing of how you do like the niche operators, the counters, the adaptations, the executes, etc. So I would also favor Chiefs on this map of Bank for sure. Now, if we were to go to border, I do think the conversation could shift. Like, if nobody has, like, a banger game from Chiefs, maybe Rival could take it. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I think Bank is going to be an upset if Rival were to win this one.
It's a polar opposite type of map, isn't it? That's the thing. It's very
completely.
much. Yeah, it's all about the fragging, all about the power positions. It's much less about the util. But hey, this game will be also a lot less about certain types of util. We talked a lot about Echo in the last game, how that affected a lot of the power positions on Lair, the smoke extending onto the staircase, the plant denial. Chiefs have gone ahead and banned it straight out of the gate. No Kaid, no Echo, which means that their shields are going to be a lot more dangerous. The Echo these days with 3 Yokais is so good on Bank. Historically has always been good on Bank. I feel like Bank is the most iconic place to see an Echo because of that basement, because of that default plant spot, and how much this bomb site so typically hinges on the protection of that default plant spot. However, with 3 Yokais, you can use 1 or 2 on your roam game, try and get a kill or slow down the Blitz or Monty or whoever is playing the shield, and then fall them back to site down through the hatches, use your spare Yokais that haven't been taken down on the roam, and then win on that plant win condition anyway.
I might be overanalyzing this, but I think it's very genius how Chiefs they banned Echo as the second operator, because ban the Kaid, it gives nothing away. That's like a default, very common ban to do, because it's the only hatch denial operator on defense. Banning the Echo could be a counter response to the Ying ban that they saw. They said, hey, they're going for those execute enabling operators, like that last time Ying in the glass. If we ban the Echo, we can enable Jakina or Lunchbox here on the shields instead. We see a fast aggressive push in towards Archive's Tethers. That doesn't work out, but Jakena elsewhere on the Nuke DMR instead of Lobby does find his pick. So they do get that huge opening regardless. And now they're in the bomb site.
Oh my god, they're going deep. Here comes Lunchbox.
No one knows.
Trying to close the distance here. Tries to take the 1v2, but he gets crossfired. Can only flash one of those players at a time. Chiefs might have the numbers, but they do not have a plant position. As I say that, Neptune, 3 kills on the round, puts ACOG in an awkward spot. But he finds 1 of 3. Neptune quickly polishes it off to a 4K. What a fiery start for Chiefs.
I mean, this guy dropped 15 kills to finish off Lair in a 7-3 win, and now he's going 4 kills in the first shot on Bank. Someone has to stop this man, because he is currently on pace to like 1v5 these guys in the server. It is ridiculous. I love the off-pace play, though, because it looked like for a good second there, they were going for a full roam clear. From lobby into open area, take Minister's control, drop down the hatches in open, and maybe take server at the end. No, they were kind of fighting for the roam clear. Just drops down the lobby hatch and start attacking the bomb site itself. So we saw Lunchbox get very aggressive on the blitz. And, Jake spoke about Lunchbox where he can plant, he can injure, he can kind of do it all, he can get the kills. The thing is, when you have 2 separate shield players, you can really shift the playstyle. And it's something that we see from another team in APL that is also dominating their region in Weibo. Yeah. Because they can have Speakeasy play the Monty or any shield, and he will play, in the best sense of the word, a very passive shield. He will ADS if he absolutely has to. He will make the play if he's forced to. But generally, he will always stay alive and go for a plant. Jakena is that kind of guy. But then you have players like your touchdown Weibo that can play up like if he has to, or Lunchbox here for Chiefs that can just, you know what, I'm gonna go fast, I'm gonna go in there. Because I bet you Jakena would not have played that round the exact same way as Lunchbox did, where he sought the 2v1 battle. He wanted to struggle. Jakena would have gone, I'm gonna climb the corner, you guys take the fights, okay?
Yeah. Another team in the APL that does that is
flexibility.
CAG, right? They have Anaton, who loves to play aggressive
DD.
shields, and then DD, who's that like hard, safe Monty player when he plays those shields. So yeah, it's nice to have that.
And they're all top teams in their
versatility.
region.
Very much so, for a good reason. Now, something that you didn't see, because you're not here in the studio with me, despite the Robo Pengu being here in the studio, I could see on the second monitor that I have here, during the post-round rather, when we were looking at the face cams, I saw the Chiefs boys were saying, thank you, Cairo. That was a Cairo strat in the all chat. So, funnily enough, credit to Cairo, who of course a lot of these boys used to play with, and now plays on Enterprise. They're crediting him with that strat, a very quick one, and it works like a charm.
I gotta pay respect where it's due. Weatables in a bit of trouble here, fighting 2 players in stock, 1 in Gen Hallway, being forced back a fair bit here, but a C4 from ACOG finds relays on the Grim, so a lot of intel now removed from the board, leaving and another one from downtown. From open area into stock, Vert takes Lunchbox clean off as well. Blitz and Grim in the grave.
Yeah, gorgeous from rival Chiefs. Tried to be a little bit pacey, be fast. 2 players in stock very early without hard clearing the hallway. Typically, teams will play a little bit slower and try and hard clear that hallway by hard breaching the stock walls before they actually set foot inside stock, because they're much more vulnerable if they do so. But no, Chiefs ended up taking the risk, and this time it doesn't pay off.
Finally stopped that first push, but there's a second. It's called Neptune. Still on that 4-0 tally. Playing the Deimos operator. Has a nade for the shield. Doesn't realize they play behind it. Now he does, but it's too late. Bad timing.
Yeah, and now he's caught by the clash. That would have been a great opportunity for Neptune, but might be able to get an opportunity against the clash now, but Proxy follows it up. Takes him down. Jake and Player now set their sights on the side itself, but ACOG is there, still waiting down below, and he will take down Jakena. He started this round with a big nuclear C4, and he finishes it with 2 big kills. A 4K on the round for Mira on the bomb site. Trust in your anchors, boys. They can support the roamers, and they can lock down the fort on the bomb. Beautiful stuff from Rival, and they can match, it seems, that pace from the Chiefs.
Well, this is with the clash on the board, mind you, right? It's like the #1 pace stopper from any of the attacks when it comes to just choosing one area of the map and saying, we're gonna fight back. And that's Weatables. He was there in the beginning saying, hey, they're in stock, C4, go for the very kills, enabling ACOG, his teammate. And then after that, what's he doing? He saw Neptune on Banana, that balcony outside the quad window room on top floor, and he was jumping out and chasing with his teammates, also going for a fight. That's what the clash gives you. But like we saw in there, I'm not sure how many more rounds they can play that operator, because there's a very high chance that after this round here, that we're gonna see either Smoke, Tashanka, Goyo, Asami, or Clash being banned away. And I know I just mentioned like 5 different operators, but Clash is in that conversation. It depends on whether or not Chiefs want to target all the bomb sites and ban something like the Asami, because it's being played all the time, or target a niche bomb site or a niche strat and go more into like your Tashanka or your Clash, for example.
I can let you use my formula. It might help you get over what happened.
It's all about striking that balance if you're Chiefs between playing really fast and really risky and playing something a lot slower and steadier, because Bank is an attacker-sided map. Against Enterprise, Chiefs won 4 rounds in the first half when they were on the attack in the group stage. And these days we expect teams to perform better on attack than defense on this map. But sometimes one risk taken here, like on that top floor with the early entry into stock, and your entire round can collapse. Rival have shown that they are always ready and expecting Chiefs to be quick, expecting Chiefs to be making a lot of noise, and that they are doing. And now Chef Jeff spots that there is a blitz staring him down. What he doesn't realize is Jakena is actually all alone. He decides to fall on back to the bomb site. There's only now 1 player off that bomb site. It's a Razor on the blue stairs. How will Chiefs look to deal with him? Well, when you have a clash on the, a blitz on the board, it's pretty straightforward. you should be able to just face check him and take him down.
Yeah. You sent him in. The question is, can they start burning down the toxic babes like early? Because if you send the blitz right now, you can start forcing out the smoke. If not, you gotta push through it later on. We heard it there off screen. Eraser has popped the first toxic babe. He can now buy about 12 or so seconds with each one of them. So they can't really challenge him until about a minute or so left into the round. So Chiefs are now waiting. While they're doing this, they're gonna be droning and breaching the last few areas, watching the flank. So they are doing things in the interim. But for now, as I said, about a minute left. So you can pop the final smoke, burn the last couple of seconds, and then the fighting will happen.
Ooh.
He's actually doing a great job of min-maxing it right now, not popping it too early.
That said, he does get stabbed in the back
behind-
from down
behind
below.
him.
For some reason, Eraser didn't realize that the Sens wall had gone off. He'd lost his teammate on the bomb site who was contesting the hatch, and the blitz had just dropped behind him. That's a freebie for Chiefs. Now a 5v3 with 50 seconds to execute. I don't care if you got Tachanka and Goyo. There is no way whatsoever that this gets denied from Rival. That said, they might have to dig deep here. Chiefs might have to send it. Wedables should be able to lock off the default plant spot, but he won't be able to safely do so if there are players from Chiefs dropping onto his face.
Gotta drop and go, but if you're in the fire as a blitz, your shield will get knocked to its side, so you gotta be very careful. The Sentinel will cover
nice
his
plant
protection
spot.
here.
This is a very cheeky, unusual plant spot. It's not being fired off by the Tachanka.
They don't know.
But there's damage enough done. Plant has not gone down. Now they have to go big. Jake is on the floor, but I don't know if Rival are aware of it. It's just Wedables in a 1v4.
Oh my God.
He spots so many of them, takes them all down. 1v2, but realizes spot his position into the 1v1 player against Wedables. It's a 1v5 clutch for the tables. I can't believe it. My God.
He was hiding on the floor. What did we just see, James? The chaos, the sense wall, the smoke grenade, the plan was about to be attempted again for the second time. I was thinking if he just stays on that floor and doesn't shoot a single bullet, maybe he can win on 0 seconds. But instead, he brought the fight to them. Got both the first 2 kills, realized, hey, this is winnable all of a sudden. Plays the positioning perfectly, isolating the gunfights. Ridiculous clutch for Rival.
I think it was a 1v5, right? Like, Jakenna's on the ground here. It's Wedables 1v5 right now.
Yeah,
And there are
it's a
2
1v5.
players going for the revive. One going for the revive, one going for the
my
defuse, and Jakenna on the floor. 3 of them in a single spray, and then the critical part was the 1v1 against Relays. Wedables ain't washed, I tell you that. He's not washtables today. He is back on top again. That is a huge round. And here, Pengu, I feel like Rival have hit par for the course. 2 defenses. Anything more from here on out is a gift.
They can aim for a lot more than that, yeah. We do see the Clash ban and Mon-Team response as well. I think both teams doing a great job in that particular fashion, but man. I was doing the counts, like I only saw him kill 2 people when he went for the first raid, but you're right, there was a 3rd player that was injured, so that's where all the deaths came from. What a rare case of a clutch, like winning like that from one singular position as well. Well, that's a highlight for sure. Would be a bummer to get that kind of clutch and not win the map though, because it wouldn't matter a whole lot. The Rival are gonna look for more. If they can get a 3rd defensive round, I mean that would almost just settle it. Statistically, you should be winning that point. But they gotta be as good on attacks. They have been on defense so far. Now they're going top floor, and without the clash, they have very little protection. They have very little fighting ground. So it's gonna come down to maybe a DMR from ACOG now, playing the Trooper Owl.
ACOG living up to the name.
Not sure. Yep. He's got that ACOG in him.
Got that dog in him too. 6 and 2, by the way. I gotta say, Wedables getting a 1v5 with only 3 kills because one was finishing off an injured player and he didn't kill the last player. That's just beautiful. Love to see that. Now this is a more typical way that attackers try and clear the top floor stock position. You breach the wall before you enter stock.
Yeah, that's certainly an option.
Reloading! Cover me!
Of course, this is, I guess when it's top floor, you feel less bad about investing like a lot of resources, where when it's open area, roam clear, you feel a bit like, oh, we gotta breach the hatches, we gotta breach other things. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it, but you can easily skip a step because normally you don't need to do it necessarily. It's not that common that we see a C4 downstairs when you jump in the stock windows in 2026, but it happened last time. Jakena with a good opening pick, and Chef Jeff being pressured from this Damon's track from downstairs. Long line of sight towards medium rotate. That's going to put a lot of pressure onto Rival already. Proxy goes down to injured but not confirmed.
Look at the way he contests that and still finds the kill. That is a gnarly gunfight to take through a breached floor and a breached wall against a Deimos with the SMG-11. Love to see that from Chef. Back even again after Wedables went down. And we're a bit of a standstill. Chiefs were mostly leveraging Neptune, their top fragger, to try and get in the building and deal a lot of damage, but now they have to keep on marching forward without him. Lunchbox landing as much of those Grim Bees. Oh, hang on, there's a player deep in the bomb side. I didn't realize this, but on the back of the Sens wall, Relays sneaks on in, but ACOG with the ACOG finds one, and then he freezes up some of those Sens walls. That's a beautiful counter in the 1v1 onto the bomb site now. Jakena will go down. ACOG playing his position to perfection. Really showcasing what a Tuberau can do when used with a little bit of creativity. But he finally will fall. Lunchbox needs to have more than just one kill here or there. He needs a whole bunch, and he's just been taken down. Player 1v2, Proxy locking in his position all the way back at the elevators. You have done a lot there, says Chef Jeff. And it's play in a 1v2, forcing that plant down. He might actually be able to get it off. Indeed he does, but a nitro cell from way downtown, tossed over from a Razor. Rival have a third defense round on the board.
I don't know, this Chiefs feeling a little bit frustrated in the round or something, but they're not working together. Like, one guy is deep inside the building, one person's outside the building, one is downstairs looking at flank, despite having a drone watching the exact same angle. They are all over the place. Meanwhile, Rival Esports just isolating gunfights and getting their ones. ACOG and Tuber are getting the two most important kills, one could argue, in the server. And of course, Chef Jeff early taking down the Deimos from the vert angle as well. This is them playing that disruptive gameplay, saying, hey, we don't have to clash anymore, we can't play in the hallways, we need to get a kill somewhere. And they were happily going for fights. The assignment that got injured way early in the round also got revived, so while it looked good for Chiefs to start things off, it fell apart very quickly after.
Now they take the tactical timeout after going down 3-1. And Nate gets in on the mic. 3 rounds in a row. They have struggled. Nate needs to talk to them and figure out, okay, what the hell's going on? Well, in their defense now, and I guess to try and give them a little bit of a boost, we know what bomb site's going to be next, Pengu. It's staff room open area, because Lockers and Exec Lounge are both locked up. So Nate, on that tactical timeout, can talk generally and say, okay, guys, you know, these are the overall mistakes we're making, but let's lock in for specific bomb sites. Basement, we knew we basically won that attack. We had a 5 versus 1. The only problem is...
should have won it.
Yeah, we should have won that. Ever since that moment, you know, it's been just a massive comeback here for Rival. Now they know they're going onto this bomb site on staff room, and they can say, well, what went wrong? We all died on stock at the start of the round, because ACOG down below with that mirror had a C4 and vert lines of sight. So what are they going to do about it this time? Perhaps they won't all funnel in through stock room. Perhaps they'll play more from the CEO windows, which we typically see from attacks. It typically is a sweep across. You take the top floor. You don't really hard take stock. You need crossfires. Or maybe they rush the site. That also would not be unusual for them.
There's 3 things that can happen here. One is that you play the gap finding strat. You just have 5 attackers kind of spread around the map, and you're all looking for an opening and hopefully find one or force one. The second one is that you're going to play a lot safer in the early stage of the round. You want to not have a player die early to a C4. Don't want to have anybody make a mistake, because you're getting punished now by Rival individually. The third option is that you go for, like you said, a side rush, a direct hit, where you minimize the risk of, like, you know, dying on the roam clear and having isolated players by having 5 people in close proximity, but going for a rush play. Right now, it's a bit of everything, because they're tracking, they're rushing, they're pushing, they want to kill, and the Razor falls to fall on back very quickly here, because Lunchbox is in the middle of the building and Archives and Tillers.
Yeah, it's a good call, though, from Eraser. He didn't overstay his welcome. And I'm also glad that Lunchbox didn't hunt him down, walk into more crossfires. He just focuses up and says, okay, well, we're focusing on Teller's archives. Problem is, they haven't taken the top floor, Pengu, which means that they're vulnerable to these vert lines of sight, like Wedables has right here in Jan Closet. If they try and get too close to that door into archives itself, then they are dead. We need pressure on the top floor at the same time as Chief has taken control of the ground floor. But they're playing very slow.
Almost too late to them. They have one player on the rappel, but he can't afford to jump on in. And the issue is, do you have time now to walk people back up the staircase and now try and go into unknown territory? Probably not, but they are going to do it. See, that silhouette actually.
Oh, wow.
They're going to go up the staircase and go for the fight. You're right. They're going to challenge the verticality.
Player actually comes up the
But they
stairs.
just needed their own player.
I think they just needed their own player. A little bit awkward, however, it might have just baited them out. Player now goes deeper to the bomb side and he finds one kill. Player's found a second pick on the bomb side. ACOG is left all alone. 1v5. Surely he can't have the same luck as Wedables did just a few rounds ago, but he is the water, which means in close range, the Blitz will have to punch him down, and he does. After their tactical timeout, Chiefs will find their second round. One more remains in the half, and they need this so dearly.
Out of nowhere, they just win it. I was gonna say, like, is there time to walk, outside of Tiller's archives, walk up the lobby staircase, and then try and fight for top floor? Maybe not if you do it in the conventional way of clearing every angle and droning, etc. But they just sprinted up the staircase, and they are taking the fights in the hallways together. Player getting killed up above and below, making both the bomb side weak and the roam game itself. That's going to get you the round that you really needed, right? You get back on your feet, change the momentum, and you make Nate, your coach, proud after a tactical timeout. But this is the real challenge. Tying up the half now to a 3-3, and you got to do it on the more conventional basement bomb side. That's all about the plant denial, usually. Because look at the the defender lineup here. Vigil, Valkyrie, Fenrir. This is not saying, hey, let's meet on the bomb side 5v5. We got plant denial for days. This is saying, roam game top floor, roam game open area, and we're not gonna see a 5v5 when we're halfway through this one. You're gonna win or lose off the roam more or less here, or in an even outcome. It's like a 3v3. Attackers have the full map except for the side, and then we gotta see like a really tricky execute because you cannot really do it with just the 3 attackers. So early stage of this round, getting that opening pick, so vital.
Chiefs are one of the best teams that we know at getting those opening picks. They really excel at those early games a lot of the time. As I say that, it seems like they're making me eat my own words as Chef Jeff finds the first kill.
Okay.
And the second kill as well has been found. Man, I'm a little scared though for the Chiefs. Too many of these rounds, they've started a little bit risky.
That's round.
Yeah, it's very uncharacteristic because I'm looking at the stats now. Chiefs, 63% of the time win their opening. 62% of the time win their opening exchange. Rival is all the way down at 44%, second worst in the league. This is very uncharacteristic of the Chiefs. Realize needs this kill, and he loses the fight despite getting the first bullet off. Proxy wins the headshot, and the diffuser is just sitting down, waiting in stock to be picked up by a Chiefs player, but this feels like it's going to be a 4-2 split in the opposite direction to what we would have expected.
Rival has done a great job on Bang so far. It really all started with that basement clutch, just kind of setting the tone, then just taking momentum from there. And like I said, this round was going to be about the roam game. You're going to win or lose off the roam, and they have won it, James. So 5v2, unless you absolutely bottle this one and throw it in the craziest of ways, it should just be a lock in. But we just swing the doorway. Winnable. Not necessary, not needed, but we're allowed one person to throw because that means everyone else is not going to play a bit more scared, a bit more safe. Go, okay, that's our troll. Now we can play disciplined. Get a crossfire. Have 2 defenders work together in groups of 2 so that you never take a fight 1 versus 1.
Oh, hang on a second.
Oh, no.
Neptune has gone big.
Oh, James!
Neptune might be able to save the half for the Chiefs into the 2v2. Nate goes out. He's still got 2 more roly-polies in pocket to try and cover himself, but he's not going to use them for now because he wants Player to have a line of sight. The Nitro Cell actually does land because of that soft wall. Now it's an awkward crossfire to deal with here for Player, and he walks straight on into it. ACOG takes him down. Last alive is a real shocker, says Chef Jeff. He's getting lippy in the server as Rival have a revival. It's 4-2 at the end of the split. And I think we've got the boys over on the couch to break that down for us.
Thank you very much, James. We're going to have a look back at Wettables and his remarkable clutch in round number 3. We'd be remiss not to mention it. 10 seconds to go down on basement. And the thing that makes this clutch so winnable is the entire attack is expecting him to go deep. We saw Relays vault over in the meantime whilst the clip rolls through. It allows him to then line up the multi, and then he just plays super passive, draws out the first, almost over peaks into the second, but has the presence of mind to duck down. Gets a little bit fortunate that he doesn't get sprayed in the end, but just overall phenomenally played by Wettables, and that's the kind of Wet that we've come to know and love, the player that can clutch up in the big moments.
That's very true, and if you look right here, in this area here, you'll see a massive head. Great work, Michael. I'm very proud. Well done. Well done, Michael.
No Elf Armor, but
no,
it was all right.
Definitely not an Elf Armor, but you're up there. Maybe you're the El Goto.
I don't know about that.
Terrible.
No,
that was
terrible.
We'll take that one back. But Jake, obviously, a tone has been set here.
Absolutely.
And it looks like they're feeling comfortable.
Don't forget as well, Bank in this region is the most attacker-sided map. And so for Rival to go and get 4 defensive rounds, they should be very happy with themselves. There were still elements of what we saw on Lair. A lot of the opening kills going the way of Chiefs. They looked comfortable early round. Obviously, the segment that Gus just highlighted was quite big in the end. That was a big clutch from Wettables. It shouldn't be the round that Chiefs ultimately should have lost, and they did, and that's probably the difference. Well, that is the difference between 3-3, which I think would have been a decent half for Chiefs, and 4-2, which is now a very, very good half for Rival.
What are you doing, mate?
I knew they shouldn't have given me this. This is a terrible idea. But look, moving forward into this second half now, I guess my question is where do we see those heels dug in? Where do we see that opportunity arise? Do we see an opportunity arise?
For which team, Rob? Or for either?
Well, for Rivals. I'd have to say Rivals.
It's in another situation, though, where Rival have put themselves in the benchmark position. We saw this exact same thing back on Lair, where after they win that second attack, we're going, wow, we're on here. This could be a really good game. They should look much stronger on defense. And the Chiefs just walked out of the gates and dominated. And Bank is the style of map where even on defense, if a team can dictate tempo and pacing, etc., I still see and envision a world in which Chiefs could potentially dominate.
Sure.
But we'll have to wait and see. As the bans do, of course, play out for this first half. So Glaz, Hibana, so one of the ranged hard breach, they elect not to actually double down. Defensively, you see the Kaid banned out, so that's going to bolster basement for the attack. And Tachanka as well. So a big emphasis on this basement site. And despite that, Chiefs will actually elect to still go there.
Again, I'm over-emphasizing this maybe a little bit. But in this second half, if Rival are starting to get opening kills, watch out. Because that's the one area across now 2 maps. So a decent sample size that Chiefs have absolutely dominated, giving them a lot of 5v4 opportunities. We'll see if that's going to change or not heading into the second half. I do actually have a feeling Rival might get us to a 3rd map.
Ooh, okay. So we're hoping. We're hoping that the work done in the first half is going to be enough to push us to border. Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's get into the second half.
If you'd asked me before this map started at the end of Lair, would we be going 3? I would have said, I don't think so. Chiefs beat EP on this map twice, and that kickoff result where Rivals 7-1 them on Bank was such a long time ago. I think Chiefs have the momentum, and I feel like that has changed. Yeah, Chiefs did manage to get a 2nd round and a half, but 4-2 for Rival defense is pretty crazy. I'm scared for Chiefs now, and I think that if we go to border, it's anybody's game.
Yeah. Starting to get a bit worried as well. I am a little bit curious here about the Hibana ban from Chiefs. It's quite rare these days that we see a hard breach ban on Bank unless you're doubling down with Ace and Hibana. Now there are 2 things that can happen here. Either just want to get rid of the Hibana because Rival likes to bring out the operator and get all the hatches, etc. And for this trick right here that we see, when you put a Goyo canister and or Runegate on the hatches, Hibana can deal with that very easily. Because the Hibana pellets can be, tossed on in any way you would like. And you can just use 2 Hibana X Kairos to get rid of the, what's it called? A Rune laser as well. Yeah. So that's a big counterplay. The other option is that you do keep the door open for the 3rd operator band to become the ace later on. So in the second half of defense, you can now make top floor a lot more playable. And that might be necessary. Because as Gus said, with the Kite and the Shange both being banned away, it does make that basement bomb site just a little bit or a lot harder to hold on to.
It's true. That said, Neptune did hide the Clash in the prep phase, and like you said, banning that Hibana means that Rival are really thinking a lot about, okay, we've got to make sure we have enough hard breach available. We've got to make sure we've got the Grim, the Striker, the Capital, they're not necessarily thinking, okay, what are we going to do with the clash? Thankfully, there happens to be something that both fills the shoes of the Hibana and also counters the clash in that Capitao. But Weddable's going to have to make sure he makes the most of... Wait, what? How did Relays go down so early? Like I said, Rival are the second worst opening kill team in this league. Chiefs are the best. There's a 20% differential between how good these two teams are at getting opening kills, and yet the result has panned out like this. Now Proxy's hacked the default cams as well. Chiefs are getting spotted by the own default cam on the bomb site, and they still haven't shot it. Rival have so much info, and they've got the opening pick.
Oh yeah. It was going to be Relays was playing in server, then took the stairs control after the breach started installed for time, died immediately. That's how we got to this point right here. Now Neptune can stop a push, but guys, they're planting. The push isn't main staircase. They're going to stall it out with the Toxic Babes instead. They have 2 more in pocket. They can stall this out for the vast majority of the timer, but there will be a chance at about 7 seconds left where Rival can go for a plant uncontested.
But that plan does have to go down at some point. 12 seconds to go. Weddable begins it. The audio cue covers from Proxy. Is anybody here to deny the plan? Absolutely nobody. Chiefs now go for a double retake upstairs. Neptune trying to guide Lunchbox into these gunfights, but I think that Rival have read it to perfection. Deep into the bomb site, now they go.
Jesus.
Neptune has to try and take fights against 2 players. Rival have come back with a vengeance. They are looking mighty fine on bank. A 5th round for them. And Chiefs, I think they got to hang it up. It's time to go to border, boys. This is not a good look.
A tough first defensive round. I mean, the Clash playing main staircase. I mean, either you're gonna, take a fight, which they're not gonna give you. You're just gonna walk away, right? The other option is that Neptune can walk up the main stairs and try and pressure a flank. But that didn't happen either. They had the Grim Beast there for flank protection, basically. So if you walk on up, you're going to get red ping the entire time. So they know exactly how many people are fighting you on the main staircase. Then, like I said, they have 2 Toxic Babes in pocket. Then they have nothing for the plant. And this is Rival being incredibly smart at counting the util. They knew they had about 30 seconds, and they also knew there are only 2 Toxic Babes and no C4. If you do the basic math there, it's about 10 to 12 seconds per smoke canister. You're gonna have between like your 6 to 10 seconds left where there is nothing that can challenge you. Then it's just gonna be guns pushing into you and taking fights, which you have DMRs, you're much more favored. And you got the opening pick, you have higher numbers of guns facing the same direction. Rival make it a very simple attack, but highly efficient. And now, we're gonna go top floor. Which normally you would go, hey, that's pretty good. They banned the Hibana. Well, they didn't ban the Ace. That hasn't happened. So basement is weakened with the upper ban selection of their opponent, and top floor hasn't been made that much stronger with Chiefs' own bans. So what are they crutching now? Well, they have Relays who's 0-6 playing the Asami. That's going to give you a bit of protection fighting for stock or the windows, etc. Then they have Jakena on the Maestro of all operators for a bunch of intel. And there is no Brava as a counter pick. So maybe, just maybe, those Evil Eyes of Maestro can do enough damage to change the course of this round.
Since you mentioned the Ace and those Kanto walls, I wonder if there is an Evil Eye in position to shoot those Selmas. Because actually that is a pretty decent counter. It's still quite hard to land those shots, but you never know. I can see that he's currently on one in the bomb site in Exec Lounge, just looking for drones. It's been gone 6th already. He does have one, yeah. There's one in Lone Office, which is going to be able to take down those Selmas if they are placed on the wall. And they are being placed right now. Is he on the gadget? He is too late. He's on the gadget right now. And I think he's just missed his chance. I didn't quite see.
It sounded like it, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Eraser was actually breaching.
He's in a mute jammer.
Yeah, but also Eraser was breaching Janitor, not Lone Office. I was wrong.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. See,
gonna say, I like how they're doubling down with both the Mute Jammer and the Maestro, so they can guarantee, like, no Dokkaebi call can go through, for example, no Daemless Tracker, so you can just fully enable the gadget. And I'm not sure you've seen this, but like they're playing super far back here from Chiefs. C4 downstairs, Evil Eyes across the map, and then they just have Neptune playing the quad window with a DMR. They want to bait Rival into the bomb site because it's a kill box. Because they are not playing Janitors, they're not playing in the usual spots at all. Rival are not taking the bait though, they're saying, looks kind of weird. Not sure what we do right now, so just take it nice and slow. Make sure they don't overstep.
Talk about overstepping, ACOG takes a lot of damage to his feet as he tries to make his way forward, but the plan might well be going down here. Chiefs have won the battle when it comes to the kills, but the plan almost goes down. Player is so lucky that that landed just by the skin of his teeth, and now Rival just rely on a very low HP Proxy and Wettables, who's now finally found an opening kill for his team. And Nitro Cell immediately responds onto Wettables. Proxy will trade back Lunchbox, who was trying to escape downstairs, but now the Gridlock has a world of work ahead of him. And Jakenda still has that Maestro. I'm not sure if there are any Evil Eyes in position. If there were, then Proxy has no real way of making this work. No util to speak of. But this F90 does pack a punch. He needs to isolate kills one at a time. Diffuser still cold on the ground in CEO office. Great shot onto relays. Neptune immediately trades. And Chiefs finally have a third round on the board. Their first defense. Still not looking too hot. Rival can afford to lose a few rounds. No need to sweat as of yet.
It's a great pocket strat, though. I quite liked how they played it out. They just have one guy being the playmaker, Neptune, so the DMR and a Rooney, and everyone else playing about the utility, the intel, and just planting out the smoke, the C4, and of course the Maestro Evil Eyes. Very curious what's gonna happen, though, later on, because I'm just thinking ahead here. Operator bans. I feel like there are so many things open on the board here for the conversation. We gotta play this final round before that's gonna happen, of course. I spy with my eye an Oryx on the basement bomb side, and no information operators to follow. Usually when this happens, James, right? We're talking about, you know, yeah, you're hiding it here. You want them to open usually the lobby or elevator hatch, and you can go for a nasty flank later on going up that hatch itself. Commonly, you'll play like a Pulse, a Valkyrie, or an Echo to support the Oryx, because if you jump up at the wrong time and somebody's in the area, they're gonna hear the Oryx, you die for free, etc.
It's risky, especially when you put
they're
on
playing
your
for those
0-7
intel operators.
Well,
one could argue that Relays isn't doing a whole lot right now, so he might as well take the riskiest job. One could also argue that because Relays isn't hitting these shots, maybe you should be playing operators like your Echo or your Smoke. That's more about the gadgetry. There's two sides to that,
True,
right?
but in theory, if Oryx
Because if you lose Relays, what have you lost?
If Oryx is playing his job well, though, if he's playing it smart, then he won't be taking fair gunfights. And maybe shooting a few people in the back off of a flank is the way that Relays gets his confidence back up to start fragging again.
Yeah. He just needs one kill. I mean, I always say this. I think the most difficult, the most important kill of any game is the first one. Because once you go 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, eventually it's gonna kind of manifest in the back of your mind like, oh my god, I can't get on the board, I can't get a kill, I can't win a single gunfight. Just getting on the scoreboard itself makes a huge difference. Scoreboard. Lunchbox will drop straight back down the open area hatch, getting Dokkaebi called, taking a bit of damage, and of course, ACOG on the Blitz is sprinting into his face. So very, very early map control. Both Chiefs and Rival done the exact same thing here on the roam clear. They just take a Blitz, and they send it straight in the open area window, and that's just gonna force all the defenders back towards the bomb side. Ooh. But Chiefs are also selling this well, because they want to play the side 5v5. They want them to open all the hatches and have all the time in the world, because they want Relays to go for that flank play. That is their win condition. If that pocket shot doesn't pan out, there's a good chance to lose this round. So they need Relays to get into action later on, but that's not going to happen for a good while. Oh my god, that almost got the kill.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of damage onto ACOG, and he's going to be limping now, so that'll slow down the attack. Neptune actually wants to try and bunker in. This might work well for him, but he is going to be on an island all alone. He somehow doesn't get concussed from the Zephyr. One bullet to the foot of ACOG, and surely he will go down. Well done. Oh. And the Thorn Trap will surely finish him off as well. Even if he dies, the Thorn Trap will trade him back.
Smart.
That's so well played. And now ACOG on the Blitz is out of the round. Neptune up to 15 kills. Isn't enough for Chiefs to get another round on defense. There's no hard breach
know
left.
if they've opened up the backside hatches. Oh, I mean, yeah.
They can't open
perhaps
default plan.
They've breached it all, and they've opened up the elevator as well. So you see Relays looking for a flank. Once in the bomb site, going for a plant. They're toxic to stop it. Hopefully it lands.
It's a triple
smoke
flank.
missed.
Oh my god, it's a triple flank.
But they're planting.
Up the stairs,
There's no one
but
here.
they have forfeited the bomb side in order to achieve this. Now they look to try and make something happen on the flank, but Relays is getting called from the Dokkaebi. Now they'll know where he is, surely.
No.
Finally, he takes down a Razor. 3v3 though, his phone explodes. And Chiefs had a nice idea, but it hasn't panned out well for them. They've lost control of the bomb site itself and given up so much ground now to Rival, who seem to hold this down. every single player from the Chiefs trying to
running away.
retake, but Jeff sitting back and safely, and now taunting his opponent Lunchbox in a 1v2, no time whatsoever to get back into it. Even Wenables turns around and takes him down. Very congratulations round there, bro, says Chef Jeff, as Rival have completely cooked the Chiefs. It's 6-3, 3 map points now before them.
Man, a pocket strat that does not pan out. Again, I thought Oryx were going to be the sole flanker, but instead it's a 3-man retake up the main stairs while the plant is like 50% through. So again, it goes back to what happened on Lair, right? Chiefs not having a backup. On Lair, they had relays hiding on the smoke, you know, a floor beneath the bomb side. And Rival, they go for a push upstairs and they realize and they get the round. They didn't have a C4. They didn't have a second way of stopping a plant.
The Tuber threw his C4 early in the round. I don't know if you remember this. Lunchbox threw his C4 into open area with no info, by the way.
Yeah. It's like they had a C4, but not used in the area that normally you would go for. And I'm thinking to myself, right? Okay, if Lunchbox's C4 gets a kill, that's quite all right. But if Lunchbox's early C4, which had no info as you mentioned, doesn't get a kill, this is really damning. Because you need to think about the strategy. The strat there is you need to bait the Oryx. That is the whole pocket strat, is the reason for why you did this strategy. So in my mind, the much higher like percentage play, like the higher outcome of success, is going to be you want to save that only C4 that you have, so that you have C4 plant denial, Toxic Babe smoke plant denial, and then you have the other 3 people working together for a flank. Now you're putting everything on one operator, the smoke, who has no intel on the bomb side, no teammates because they're all flanking on main stairs, and what we just witnessed happened. They held F on their keyboard, the smoke guessed the wrong 50-50 plant location, and they literally lose the round. The flank worked, great, good job guys, but you lost.
Yeah, they're not hedging their bets, they're going all in on the flank. You don't need 3 people flanking, you need someone on the bloody bomb side. I also think you, like you were saying, you have to sell the Oryx. You have to make them think nobody is flanking, so that when the Oryx does flank through the place they're not expecting, because he's an Oryx, they won't be ready for it. They're so much focused up on the side. But if they notice, hey, no one is pressuring us on the side, they're probably flanking, then your Oryx, the impact is far lesser. Look, Neptune's had an insane day so far. He's 30 kills over the first 2 maps. But it's not enough, because hero plays don't win games. Well, for Rival, I guess, Wenables winning that 1v5 might have won a round, but again, that's a round, not a game. Deep in on the bomb side now. Chef is so close.
Can't see it.
Yeah, the Echo can't see, but it would have heard that the Banshee got
I don't
activated.
think it did, though.
Surely not. Surely there's a plant potential here, but the Blackbeard just managed to dodge out of position.
This is messy.
This is indeed messy. It's now a flank opportunity, but Wenables gets caught off guard. Neptune needs to flank. He gets a hipfire headshot kill. Pre-firing takes down the Blackbeard. Neptune takes matters into his own hands. Big rounds.
Oh my.
Thank God Neptune is there to keep the Chiefs out of hot water. They stay alive.
What is he doing to them? 15 kills in Lair? What is this, like 18 now here in Bank? Hip fire down the hatch through the smoke, the prone drop. I mean, he's doing everything. You say hero players can't win you a round or can't win you a game, but it's the only way Chiefs are currently winning, which is super concerning. It's when an individual, the same one by the way, that gets 3-4 kills in a round, that's how they win. And it's playing Bank. It is not the map where this should be the case, but look at this. How do you stop this guy's performance? Also, that's 19 kills.
Insane. Wow. And look at his reaction. That's not hype, that's relief. These guys do not want to go to border, I can tell you that much right now. If we end up heading to border, I will be really worried for the Chiefs.
If we go OT, we're on pace here for something great, James. Something really, really great. It sucks when it happens in this kind of instance of like your team is struggling, but you're saving them time and time again. But 19 kills going into the 11th round and dropping 15 on the map prior. There are multiple records in play, technically speaking, here, if he maintains this level.
Yeah, I don't know if the desk can, the guys on the couch can hear us, but if this does go to 3 maps, we could be on track, as Nick said, for the kill record for Neptune. who's got
Yep.
what is it so far? So 15 plus 19. What's that? Is that 34 kills so far in 2 maps?
Yep. 34 kills.
One of the highest
Yep,
KPIs
and not
I
many
have
devs
ever
either.
seen. His KD would be insane right now.
Very damn
Do
good.
you remember off the top of your head what the BO3 kill record is for an online tier 1 game?
Oh, I don't.
'Cause
But it's
That's a BO3 rather than the BO1 LAN record is 27,
I want
right?
to say it's 47.
47,
I think it's
okay.
47, but I could be wrong.
I don't know how to find that.
That's just a number that I know how to find it. I just need some time.
Oh, okay. How do we
So
find
you
it?
just fill for like 5 minutes and I'll find it.
Mate, we have three.
Hap made a tweet.
We have 3 guys sitting on their butts in the next room. They could be looking it up.
I got it. I got it.
You've got
Best
it.
of 3 is 55 online, 50 on LAN.
55 online.
55.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
And
we're not
it's
on
also
for it.
tied. Ambi NAL Finals 2024, Citizen EUL Finals 2021.
It's tied at what did you say?
55.
55. That's insane. Oh, well.
55 Ambi Citizen.
Ambient Citizen.
Single
knows?
map, of course, Onigiri, Paolo, and Doom that are all tied up.
Yeah. Well, opening kill here for Chiefs certainly lends itself to the possibility that Neptune will have more chances at getting closer to that record. Rival on the attack, seemingly running out of steam. Player fakes the drop, I like that. But I'm not sure if anyone was close enough to hear it.
Wide round. Is this the nerves getting to Rival as they're bottling around to Neptune here? I mean, this is the slowest pace so far. There's no shield, there's no fast entry. They lost the Razor early, who has the only heart destruction, by the way.
Oh,
now we're looking at
true.
45 seconds left, and they're just holding these passive angles. I mean, strategically, they have no way to win it. It's gonna get worse. Play with a second kill, leaving the 3 members of Rival working together, trying to pick up the pieces. But as I said, no heart destruction. They have only 2 ways in the side, 3 if you count the hatch.
Good info here. Those tandem info operators in the Lion and the Solid Snake, but Chiefs know it doesn't matter if they know which corners of the bomb site we're in. If we maintain our crossfires and play in safe spots, then it doesn't matter. We are safe regardless. Wedables does find a gap onto player as Proxy tries to find his as well, but Lunchbox locking down his position in Kansan and Neptune. That's a 20 bomb for him. Chiefs, another round on the board and 1 step closer to OT.
Disgusting. Round by round, they will march forward. I think, I guess I said, the pressure getting to Rival. Is it time for attack time, or is it time to just kind of keep playing it out? Because only Nate's been calling it so far, right here for Bank at least.
So 35.
Nope.
We're
Gonna
up.
play on.
Oh, well. 35 kills for Neptune. We're still 20 behind the
We're
online
20 off.
record. But you know, if this goes overtime, give him another, minimum 5 kills. Honestly, he could dude could pop 30 this game. If this ends up going 8-7, I don't know. I feel like 10 kills in the next, what is that, 4 rounds? I think that's possible for Neptune.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I mean,
it's
it's
like
that's the thing,
2.5
right?
kills per
It's
round.
completely
He
possible.
can absolutely do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Has anyone ever
Of course
popped
it's hard
30
to
in an
get, like-
online game? I don't think people have.
not an official, so best of 1, I think, is regardless of, it's just a best of 1 period.
Yeah, the
It's
tweet you
just
sent me is
in a
but-
single map.
Yeah, not a best of 1, but that was also on.
These are
on
all
LAN.
on.
Yeah.
It was, but I don't think anyone's done it in a tier 1, because I know it's happening like in Brazil between like the #1 like FaZe Clan versus like the Challenge League team and like their own Brazilian league. But we don't count those because like that's not a tier 1 like league itself. It's a tier 1 team versus a tier 2 or tier 3 team.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, it's tier 1s in official Pro League circuits. So like, finals, playoffs, group stage, etc. Because beating 27 requires OT.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Oh. He gets a little bit too close to losing his life this round. Decides to use the cover of the fire extinguisher to retreat back. He is the operator in prime position to get a multi-kill this round. Being the Aruni with the DMR, he's also in prime position to protect that wall from being Salmon open by a Razor. Good setup here from Chiefs. Rival are going to struggle to try and figure a way to crack this open.
Yep. Speaking of fire, look at Neptune's player cam at the bottom there. There's a little fire itching up because he has the highest EPS currently in the server. So you get a little bit of a badge of honor on the player cam, if you will, showing your stellar performance. And as you said, he is playing the most pivotal position, but he's taking a lot of damage early on, meaning that, you know, one DMR shot, Kali getting the action, he can get removed from action very quickly. There is actually no DMR though, because Proxy's playing the F2 on the Twitch. That's going to give Neptunes a higher chance of being successful. But look at Rival's attacking pace. Again, ever since that Chiefs started making that comeback in reality with Neptune's clutching on the basement, they've been slow.
Shut down.
Oh, in the back of his head.
Yeah, that's a big kill. Like, if you're Rival right now and you say, oh, we've just shot Neptune in the back of the head, that's the 20 bomb down. We have a chance. However, Lunchbox has found Proxy, and now they know that there is a Solus down below.
Hold.
Big kill on the bomb side.
Hold.
Rival might be able to get it done here. Lunchbox from down below might be able to take
And
a second
going
one
down.
down. Jakenna as well into the 2v2. Lunchbox up for his flank. This is a pivotal gunfight, and he wins it against a Razor. Wettables
janitors.
to try and
Wettables.
save the game. Lets it go to overtime. Lunchbox and Jakenna have to play this perfectly. Wettables needs to take the ones one at a time. Gets the first. It will need to be a 4K. And he goes up against Lunchbox with the SMG-11 in hand. Straight onto that defuse. Fakes it once. He has some coverage from the bomb. Wettables knows that he's not sticking it. Takes the fight. Misses. Out comes the shotty. Wettables down on the floor. Oh! Lunchbox with the quad has sent Chiefs into overtime.
The old versus the new. Lunchbox with a shotgun and a dream had to hit 80% of his health bar in a single shell. Neb with a prayer once again, think, oh my god, another round, we're into OT. The dream is still alive with this 2-0 victory, but Rival, they are really challenging Chiefs right now on the server. This has been much closer than expected.
Man, I thought it was over when Neptune fell, when it was a 2v4, but
I thought it was over.
Jakenna and Lunchbox just so calm. I even thought Lunchbox being the Solus would go below and try and play the Vert, but no, that's too predictable. Instead, he takes the gunfights, and Box just barely getting enough damage onto Wettables to get that injure. A lot of energy from them, mostly from Player, who has been a little bit quieter in this game compared to how much he's been in this stage. You know, the MVP for Chiefs, in fact, for the entire of OCE. And yet he's been pretty quiet in both of these games. It's been Neptune and Lunchbox stepping it up. Thankfully, Lunchbox and Jakenna can get it done when it comes down to a pivotal round the Chiefs needed to keep this game alive. I just don't think that they can risk going to border. I think that that map will not favor the way that Relays and Player have struggled in their gunfights this series. I think, yeah, we're going to see Lunchbox and Neptune pop off on border, but it just feels like a game, a map where if you're not winning your fights, if you're not confident on tight angles, you're over, you're done. Chiefs need to lock the hell in on Bank.
Rival also staying on the attacking side could actually be a problem. Statistically, you know, this is where you want to be, typically speaking. But their pace has just shifted. Like I keep saying, they're so slow. They're completely off the shield since that blitz ban. Despite the fact you have Monty, you have the Blackbeard, like you certainly have options. And the Dokkaebi has been just not ineffective, but certainly low in value. It makes more sense for this round to counter the Echo late rounds, try and go for a plant, etc, etc, etc. But look at this current pace. They're joining top floor, they're 60 seconds in, only one person's into the building. While this is really like a standard roam clear, it is pretty slow for a 2026 Bank Siege. And that's more or less just because you're missing a shield. And they're really double checking. They had a yellow ping somewhere in lobby, maybe thinking there was a player there, but there isn't. So the fact that there's a base and bomb site, and they have Echo on the board, I mean, I'm just saying thank God there's no Goyo, because time would certainly be a problem if that was the case.
Yeah, and Chiefs have just won 2 consecutive defenses. 3 consecutive defense. What, 4? I'm tripping. 3 consecutive defenses. So they've really found their footing at playing disruptive game against the Rival attacks. However, Rival, I think, have finally figured them out. Neptune, 2 rounds in a row, goes down without so much as a kill after he found 20 in the first 10 rounds. This is a big moment now. Lunchbox going to let his phone detonate, and he actually, thankfully, gets the kill against ACOG because of it. Chef, though, able to find his pick onto Player. I'm not sure where Player was just caught off guard, whether he wasn't aware that the hatch was blowing or not, but
Open area.
just peeking outside from Lunchbox. Aggressive now from Rival as they drop 2 players on the bomb site.
He's out.
Or not into the bomb site, rather, into open area. It felt like this was the bomb site with how hard Chiefs were holding onto it, but now they have to drop down another level and try and flood. Lunchbox on the bomb site. 4K for the young lad, who has been a gift for Chiefs in this game. He's brought them across the line for too many of these rounds, and now, finally, 4 rounds in a row, they have match point.
Holding on. What did the disc say before this? If it's not Neptune's, then it's Lunchbox. Like, there's someone stepping up, and this game in particular, they're just kind of bouncing back and forth on who's going to take that control. 7-6 now, Chiefs back in the lead. They go on the attacking side, feeling very comfortable. They get your cannon on a shield exactly as they should. Rival, a little bit shaken in their boots. They know they've thrown this lead. They've thrown the game. And frankly, I think if this were to go to border, you know, and Neptune doesn't drop a 20 bomb, by the way, before entering OTE, that would have been probably a serious win for Rival. I genuinely believe that. But now I don't think they can close out on bank even. They won't even see border.
Box finally shows us a bit of energy.
Pop off.
You notice the difference in the facial expressions even between when Neptune won his massive round a few rounds ago. When he got that multi-kill, when he got that clutch, his reaction was just pure relief. Now the reaction from Chiefs, it's earnestness. It's a real feeling that they can taste that victory. They are starting to believe that they can get it done on bank without having to slip to a third map. I can't say the same for Rival. Now they flip onto their defense, Pengu. They were so potent on their defensive side. We talked about it. 4-2 at the end of the split. They won all 3 bomb sites that they needed to win, and now they go back down to the basement. But if you cast your mind back to the very first round of this game on bank, Chiefs won it on the attack onto this bomb site. If they can repeat that feat now, then we're finished, and Rival go down to the lower bracket.
So we look towards the first pick. So Canada gonna lead the charge for his team. Player on the solid snake, getting a bit of information. And I guess on the other side, Rival, it should be Chef Jeff, right? Looking to get active, playing the vigilies and CEO right now, top floor, and they might just go past him. Mind you, he won't get seen by all the drones. If Jagena goes down the staircase, that means they have no idea about Jeff's location. They don't. Now there's a drone, now they know. They gotta go hunt for him. Do you jump out and try and take the 50-50, or do you wait for the blitz? He's gonna wait for the blitz.
Patience. Oh, Lunchbox is the one to find the pick. Well read onto Rival. Chef Jeff sitting out of it. Lunchbox has turned it up to another level. Surely he's not going to catch up with Neptune here. Technically
he's
possible.
He's coming for the 20 bomb.
He's coming for him. Imagine that. Double 20 bombs. I've never seen that before. He certainly had a massive impact these last couple of rounds. Neptune almost hits 21 as a Razor falls back, peeling towards Wettables in open area. Rival
so much pressure.
Don't want to fall back too early and give up this ground. ACOG feels temptation to lash out himself. But I have a feeling that Chiefs have the read. The drones come out in droves. But Chikena covered off from down below. Wettables supports his teammates still on their roam upstairs. And Rival seem to get the last life on this roam game. Chiefs are not finished yet. They finally take control of open area, but Rival have done their damage.
If you're Chiefs right now, right, you go, guys, they have 1 C4, they only have Valkyrie. We can go for a server attack right now. If they know the server staircase is clear, breach the default wall, and just force a plant in the default location. There's almost no way to stop it. That could be the simple way of winning this round if you're an attacker right now. But I don't know if they've seen all the defenders. I don't know if they have this kind of information. But they're going down the server stairs. They got those 10 X-Kairos in pocket of Lunchbox and 1 can opener from relays on the Grim. So they have enough hot destruction. And with the Diffuser getting picked up here, it's going to go towards the hatch, actually.
Enough, but
they're not going to go for default server take.
They have the util, but they don't have the time, which means they're going to have to get desperate here for Chiefs. We've seen them get clutched on before on this same very bomb site. It was Wedables 1v5. But now he doesn't have a lot of info. He's going to have to overclock the device here to see where that plant is. He sees it. Out goes the Nitro.
No, it's
it
the
doesn't land. Neptune's forcing down the plant. And Chiefs are forcing the issue in this game. It's a massive comeback. The 20 bomb and the plant for Neptune. And Rival are sent down, packing into the lower bracket.
Oh my god, they had the solar scanner and there was so much clutter on their screen. They thought they were saying, hey guys, they're planting on the far wall, but they weren't. They were planting on the boost spot on the table between the chassis and the desk itself, so the C4 completely misses, only doing a little bit of damage. So Rival, honestly, in the last couple of rounds there, especially in the attack, very slow pace, playing relatively scared in the server, and then on the defense, it's just a bit of like, it's a bit of a mess, right? Lacking that confidence, lacking the ability to fight back and go for the big plays. Whereas Lunchbox Neptunes, them two individually, they are the only reason why they did not go to border.
That's right. The momentum built on that defense from the Chiefs. 4 rounds in a row into overtime, and then a 5th to cap it off. Massive ups to Neptune and Lunchbox. And we've got 3 lovely blokes down on the couch to break that down.
Honestly, I'd barely say we're lovely blokes, but what I would say is we can definitely help break it down for everyone at home. I mean, we should be going to a third map. There's no two ways about it. Border wasn't just on the cards, it was being prepared. In fact, I heard the tech in the downstairs area telling us they've already got Border ready to play. That should have gone to a third. It should have gone to a decider. And Chiefs just, I'm not even going to say Chiefs actually, to be fair, Lunchbox in the last 2 rounds, going from his fight to push it into OT to the first round of OT, had 8 kills between it. Like, it's just insane.
I mean, Lunchbox or Neptune, take your pick, because at different times over the course of that second map, they were both insane. And I think the second map exemplifies the storyline even more so that got established after the first. After Lair half-time, Rival, they should look competitive, they should look good in this matchup, this should be a close one. And Bank, they had an even more significant lead, even in more of a commanding position, and we were already starting to discuss Border. They just didn't have the polish to get the job done, and Chiefs had that clutch aura about them in this matchup, with Neptune farming mid-round, Lunchbox picking it up in the rounds where they maybe did struggle a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
They were just so well-rounded, and not having to crutch, you know, the likes of Player, etc., etc. They were well-rounded across the board, and unfortunately for Rival, just missing that extra gear that is needed in a best of 3. This matchup really exemplifying best of 3, you can fall short in this fashion.
Can you imagine, considering the game that Neptune had, right? Lunchbox almost had the same EPS.
Yeah. Insane.
So again, the versatility of what he brings to the table. I mean, those two are the reason very much why Chiefs ended up going and getting that win.
Yeah.
Just the 2 individual players essentially go and do that. I was like, what was it, 6-3 lead for Rival,
Yep.
6-3, and up to that point, up until the point that they got the lead, or the match points that they had, I thought Border was a certainty. I thought they did enough in the first half.
Oh, 100%.
And then the second half itself was going to plan 2 attacking rounds in the first 3. We go into the bans, they lose the blitz. Didn't think that much of it. But apparently, it was a factor. And Chiefs were able to go and get the 5 straight in the end. And we were kind of sitting here on the couch thinking, well, if this goes to overtime and then the third map, maybe the global kill record could be on for Neptune. The funny thing is Neptune didn't get a kill from that point
He
anyway.
did nothing for the last 4 rounds. Didn't need to.
No.
Anything else? Sorry, no, you know what? I'm not going to let you talk again because we actually have a interview ready with Player. He's been sitting there for the last 2 or 3 minutes while we've had Sir Yapalots on the couch. Player, look, don't mog straight into the camera, brother. Come on.
I was sleeping, bro. I've been in here for so long.
Yeah, no, it's fair. That is fair. We have actually been waiting for you for quite some time. My producer's like, can you shut up, Zen?
I've been waiting for 2 hours, by the way. Player, you weren't in the server this game, were you?
Oh, my God.
I don't know, bro. I had an off day, bro. Come on.
But in having said that, Player, do you need to be on when you've got a player like Neptune, when you've got a player like Lunchbox that do that? I mean, were you really necessarily required this game?
I mean, definitely not. Like, I think we're as good, like, you know, as enough to beat them, even if I'm having a good day or a day off. I'm just glad, like, they were, like, able to prime up and hold my back.
Yeah, I want to dig into that a little bit further. I mean, you've kind of half answered the question, but heading into today, I think you were 11-1 on entry. Like, you were absolutely insane. Today, you were the only player inside of the server that didn't have an entry battle. Was it an
sure.
off day like you're saying, or was there actually maybe a conscious effort to take you away from that role a little bit more?
Well, I think like it's usually like the maps. Like, you know, layer, I'm kind of like hard breach and on site.
Yeah.
I think it's just like the map layout that I didn't get much entries. Like I didn't get many entry engagements. But I mean, kind of had an off day, so yeah, that
Player,
explains it.
I just wanted to ask, sort of 6-3, Rival are clearly playing the map quite well. Bounce back from the opening map where you guys were largely in control. What was kind of, I guess, spoken about during that halftime ban phase that you get at the end of the second half? Were you guys focusing on strategy? Was it an amp up? Like, what was kind of discussed that evidently ended up seeing you then get the next 5 after that?
I think we kind of just realized our problems. I feel like, you know, after like obviously Wet's clutch, like I think we felt a little bit heated, like a little bit of pressure coming towards us, because obviously like we should have the best bank in Australia, and we shouldn't be losing it right now. So I think we just like halftime, we kind of just took a few deep breaths in and just remembered like it's still in it. You know what I mean? Like we can still win this easy.
I mean, you go to show that you're a team with resilience, as well as, when you're in a power position, you can close out matches, which is the most important thing. One thing I want to say is, like, obviously, you didn't play, or you didn't need to play well today, but having said that, going into the playoffs now, you've got a team that is becoming very well-rounded, and I think I want to give props to you and the rest of the roster. I really didn't know what to expect coming into stage 1. I was really quite shaky on what I was going to see, and obviously, you've dug your heels in here and you've performed really well. How do you feel about playoffs now, having had group stage under your belt and a performance where you closed out a strong map in Lair, and a performance where you've also made a comeback on Bank?
I mean, yeah, like obviously we came first in the group, or not the group stage. I meant the group stage, right? But there's obviously like we all know it's not a guarantee, and we still like just need to put our head down and kind of ignore that first seed result.
Sure.
Because like any teams can happen. Like I mean, we beat Rival like easy on group stage, and then they kind of took us at a shock level on Bank. Like anything can really happen, so we kind of just have to like not have any outcomes in our heads.
Yeah.
We kind of just need to focus on like our performance right now.
Yeah, sure thing. I'm not going to let either of you talk, because I'm getting word in my ear that I've taken too long here. Player, do you have anything you'd like to say before we let you go, mate?
I just shout out the boys, bro. Thank you, bro. Like I had a shit game. Oh, I swear, sorry.
Yeah,
I
it's
had
too
a
late
bad
now,
game.
buddy.
I had a bad game. So thank you guys for carrying my back for once.
A bad game. Relax. Actually, to be fair, you went 12-16. That's a fair enough comment. Player, thank you very much, mate. I know we've got you on a broadcast segment tomorrow, so I'm sure we'll talk about it on a broadcast segment later. Okay, bye. Bye. Lovely to have Player in the studio chatting. But I think that his level of performance throughout group stages, you can't expect that going into playoffs. Yes, we want to expect that going into playoffs, but honestly, the way the team performed today, Jake, you were saying it before. I know I took the piss out of you because you are so yap a lot, but by God, you all right, mate? You having a giggle? Oh, you can't hear me. Jake, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can hear me.
No, I can't.
Oh, you can't.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Then I won't talk to
Always
Jake.
tech issues with
You
this
know
guy.
what? Instead, let's zoom this camera in just on us two, and let's just, you and I will pretend to finish the next. We'll be the professional ones. Let's have a look at a schedule and talk about what to expect for our next matchup, shall we, Michael? Because we can still hear him. He apparently is just an old man and is deaf and can't take an in-ear out.
Pretty remarkable for a man that can talk underwater. He's found a way to not be able to express his words. So that might be a first in the history of Rainbow Six. As for this next game, though, EP go in as the fan favorites. But man, LFO certainly had a standout group stage. And I very much echo the sentiment from Player, right? You have to expect the unexpected. Nothing is granted.
Yep.
Everything is earned in this region, even with the 2 slots on the line. So EP need to go in fully focused. And I'm intrigued to see if they're more refined now in best of 3s compared to the best of 1s, where they were shaky at times.
I hear you would like to say, have you got your hand raised?
Do we just touch tips?
On that note, let's go to a break. We'll be back on the other side with our second quarterfinal of the night.